The body is but a vessel for the soul, a puppet which bends to the soul's tyranny, and lo, the body is not eternal, for it must feed on the flesh of others, lest it return to the dust whence it came. Therefore must the soul deceive, despise, and murder men. Let me tell you a story. A vagrant story!
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hello, Jim. Hello, listeners.
John Lizardman Brandon.
Won't you wear that thong?
I was hoping that would get stuck in somebody's head when I posted a reference to that song in the chat earlier today.
Glad that I was not paying attention.
And Vanessa.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, Vanessa.
Hello, listeners. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Vanessa.
Hello, John.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, John.
Hello, Matthew. Hello, Jim.
Hi.
This is the greet your neighbor part of
Yep.
church where everybody has to shake each other's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs. In this case, maybe not our favorite, but we are talking about Vagrant Story.
It's the listeners' favorite because they voted for us to play it.
Yeah, you know, I know how many episodes are we going to do for this series?
Four or
Four or
five?
five?
Let's say five. Matt
Let's say
says
five.
3.
That's 4.
Is that
That's
4?
Those are big.
That's
those are big
4.
chunks.
I don't know. Okay, I thought you're holding
Okay, 4.
your vape with
Oh,
hand.
doing the
Yeah.
the European. Okay, but so 4. So we're like 25% of the way through this game. I feel like it has the potential to be very
That's
good
the
and
European
memorable,
4.
and one that like really rocks our best of charts, but hasn't quite gotten there yet.
Well, we'll talk about it more, but I think the cutscenes are amazing. It's like, you know how when someone goes back and like makes a retro PS1 game and it looks incredible because they have like 20 years of techniques beyond that? That's what this looks like. It's so good looking.
There's something to the what's the word, like the textures and the lighting and the faces, the character model faces in this game that are just like something I'd never seen in a PlayStation, like a PS1 game.
Yeah.
Everything,
Yeah,
honestly.
I ain't looking at their faces, Jim, but we'll get to it.
everything you just said is absurd. This game is hideous.
No, it's not absurd.
It's the
This is-
ugliest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. From the crazy fucking antenna
Matt.
hair.
The dungeons look like shit, but like the in-game cutscenes, like where you can actually see their faces and things, look pretty good.
I think
they look really good.
Especially
They're
for
like
the
squares with moving black circles on them.
No,
for
like
mouths.
there's so much personality and individuality to like everybody's face,
And there's-
it's creepy,
and they're all
almost.
motion captured, and like the setup and like the art design and the editing is really good. Like for the cutscenes, they are the best
Totally.
PS1 cutscenes by a long shot.
Matt says that every PS1 game looks terrible.
They
He
do.
just doesn't like the aesthetic.
He's not a polygon man. What can we say?
Yeah,
That
we
is
like our
true.
chunky
I always
polys.
said, even back when the PlayStation was new and we were all PlayStation baby fresh eyes, like the PlayStation and Nintendo 64, like I couldn't see what was on the screen half the time. I don't understand. My brain can't make sense of these shapes.
All right. Well, before we get into our thoughts on the first chunker of Vagrant Story, let's talk about how we leveled up.
Ooh.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and go first.
Ugh. But
I've been
the first person should not be allowed to go first.
You know what?
It's a rule.
This is, I'm emceeing this episode, so I'm going to nominate myself to go first.
Sir, ma'am, there's a rule that when you share...
I'm just getting like one little nugget of airtime.
Yeah.
But in the past few weeks, I bought a new desk for like my office / podcasting setup. And so like you guys can kind of see it on one end of the L. I have like, you guys where we record and do our streaming on. If you just move over here with me, have another setup where I have all my work stuff.
We understand how L-shaped desks work.
And then behind me, even further, is where I have my PS4 now.
I see that large television behind you.
While I'm working or, recording, I can turn around and play PS4. So what I've been doing the past few weeks is I played through Uncharted 4. I've tried to squeeze in a lot of Fall Guys matches in between Zoom meetings at work. And I'm about a third of the way through God of War. I'm playing through God of War again.
Shouldn't you be playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla?
I should be, but my Xbox is it's like 7 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
It's in another room.
Like, couldn't you move the Xbox to be...
I could move... Would you? I mean, that's kind of a shitty TV. Would you put the Xbox Series S on that TV?
You're right. No.
I noticed that you have a cat house, like a cat scratch
cat
tree behind you. Is that so that your cat will be in the shot during Zoom meetings and everyone will like you more?
No, because I do my Zoom meetings over here. so the background for my Zoom meetings is my bookshelf and my art.
So it does. You are saying that is just for our benefit.
Only you guys can see the cat tree.
I think what you're saying is that you're jealous of how much airtime Porky and Jack get, and that you're hoping Chungus will.
Chungus is just not interested. She's a behind-the-scenes cat.
I admire your confidence that nobody you work with will listen to the show.
Yeah, I was
and
thinking
discover
they won't.
that you've been playing Fall Guys.
A lot of them know the name of the show.
Yeah. People bounce off of things like this.
Not listen.
You couldn't pay me to listen to somebody in my office's podcast.
Yeah, if somebody at work told me they had a podcast, I'm steering clear of that thing forever.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's fair.
Yeah. I can't fault that logic.
Yeah. So that's it. That's it for me. I got a new little space setup. Vanessa, how did you level up?
My level up's about to run out. I'm just saying.
Should we, you know what? Vanessa, how did you level up?
Is there time? I mean, Matt is like losing his mind, but yeah, I'll go ahead and level up. I watched a documentary called Chicken People.
Was it about PUBG?
Yeah, it's about people who win chicken dinners in PUBG.
I like it.
It's on Amazon Prime. No,
Matt,
it's about
not pictured in the documentary.
It's about people who raise and show chickens at chicken shows. You heard of a dog show, right?
Never heard of a dog.
You heard of a dog show? Maybe you even heard of a cat show. Well, the new craze sweeping the nation is chicken show.
No, get out of here. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's a thing. It's a thing. And let me tell you, if you have never heard the sound of 9,700 different fowl in a large convention room, all being judged on which is the fanciest chicken, you are missing out.
Now, Mrs. Cluckers here is a beautiful silky. Check out her wonderful coat and plumage.
Yeah.
So only chickens or chickens and roosters?
Okay, to be honest, it's chickens, roosters, and also ducks.
Oh. See, I have
ducks
I've been attacked. I've been attacked by multiple roosters in my life.
That makes sense.
They are mean.
That's true.
They're mean.
Well, these particular birds are bred specifically for show. So, they tend to be a pretty docile temperament.
Although
Bred for
they are shown
show.
doing some rooster-like behavior.
Look at how pretty my food is.
Hey, there is some controversy among the community. Some people do eat their chickens and some do not, so it's...
If I was going to raise a show chicken and like feed it, vitamins and care about its plumage, I'm going to eat that thing once I'm done with it.
It's going to be tasty.
Oh,
And it's going to
Jim.
taste so good. Yeah, it's going to taste
Listen,
amazing.
it's a bird. It's not like having a cat or a dog. It's a bird. They're brainless.
Jim, you can't raise a show chicken. It takes generations of breeding to produce the perfect chicken. These people are owning, up to 1,000 chickens at a time.
Just to find the perfect chicken?
Just trying to find the perfect chicken. And they all
What makes
have this...
a chicken, what makes a winning show chicken? That's what I want to know.
There's
What
a
makes a chicken
book
sexy?
that's like 100 years old or something like that, and it has drawings of the ideal chicken in it. For each chicken breed, there is a ideal that everyone is striving for, and they are attempting to match the drawings in this book with a real chicken.
What?
Is it like big breasts?
No, that's
Great profile.
No, what you're describing there is your ideal woman, not the ideal chicken.
How is the size of the breast not like an important measurement for a chicken?
Well, that's an eaten chicken, Jim. These are show chickens.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, they don't
That's
have
a
much
cattle
meat
chicken.
on the bone there. It's about the degree of the tail.
What?
Does it stick out at a perfect 45-degree angle? It's the curvature of the back. It's the points of the crest. They do rub a special oil on their crest and wattle to make them look red and shiny. So that's part of it, is the formation of the foot. And perhaps most difficult to achieve, it is the clarity of the feathers. That is there a really sharp delineation on the feathers between the black edge and then into the white and whatever patterns the chicken may have? Or does it get kind of muddy and mucked up? The movie follows 3 chicken breeders and showers. My favorite, of course, is the young man from Branson, Missouri, who sings in a show, but lost his job because he missed 2 shows in one season, pursuing his dream of chickens.
Chickens!
Yeah, he sings, he dances, but his real passion is chickens. Chicken people! Watch it. John.
Yes.
How did you level up?
I leveled up by deciding to cook. So I got together my ingredients. I got some ground beef. I got some peppers, some onions. I did assemble a meatloaf, Vanessa.
Is this loafing around?
I
A
think
loaf of meat?
it's time for loafing around. And let's talk about glazes today.
Vanessa, sing us in.
I will not.
Okay.
Because we have a technology for that.
Yeah. We have an 8-bit chiptune version of Meatloaf's I Would Do Anything for Love that we do use for loafing around.
Do we?
Yeah.
That's delightful.
And it's
I
playing
love that song.
right now. Bong, bong, bong. Dong. Anyway, so let's talk about glazes, because Matt, I think, was going to make some meatloaf, or have you recently?
Matt ordered some meatloaf.
Oh, well, I don't want to ruin his level up.
He's shaking his head at us.
Okay.
I am so tired of being confused with Jim. It has become the bane of my existence. We are different people.
The only time, sir, that I confuse you with the Jim is when we're playing PUBG and everyone looks exactly the same in that game. It's like, how am I supposed to, take the moment when we're under fire to, really look at the avatar in front of me and be like, Is this Jim or Matt? No, I'm just going to shout about
John,
whoever I think might be
too.
there.
Oh, how was your meatloaf?
I had some mini meatloaves.
Oh.
And they were delicious with some brown gravy.
Ooh.
And some mashed potatoes.
Ah.
And some green beans.
You know, I've definitely had meatloaf with straight up gravy before, and that's definitely a good thing too. But Jim and I, before the show, were talking about glazes, and the recipe that I have takes like a cup of ketchup, or almost half a cup of ketchup.
Yeah, I think I like ketchup, and I like John's ketchup and brown sugar scenario because meatloaf in and of itself is pretty salty.
Is it?
And if you add just like a
in
brown gravy on top of it, it's kind of even more salty.
Right.
And like you put the ketchup and the brown sugar, you get a little sugar in there, and it's just like it's a taste explosion.
You are describing homemade barbecue sauce. I do like a glaze, but personally I like to put something on the side instead of like a glaze because I know that I'm going to want to turn that into a meatloaf sandwich the next day. I don't like a glaziness on my sandwich.
Right.
I get that.
So
that makes sense.
I like because with the with the brown sugar, ketchup, and a little bit of mustard for kick, I mix it all together and you glaze it before you bake it. Now, the thing is that if you bake it long enough, and you should be baking a meatloaf for an hour, right? It will caramelize the glaze, and that's why you want a sweet glaze.
Yeah.
So that you get this caramelized sweetness all around baked onto the meat, which is amazing.
It's delicious.
So that is my favorite part of a meatloaf. It's everyone's favorite part, I'm sure. Also,
that glaze with the meat with some onions in it. That's a good time.
Oh yeah, yes. The meatloaf that I had lots of little carrots and onions in it. So good.
Yeah, that's
love a
good.
carrot and a meatloaf.
I put bell peppers in. And I need to.
Ooh, good choice, John.
I need to get I'm bad at chopping, so I need to get like a chopper, like some kind of food processor to do chopping.
Yeah,
because
I've got one of the a bell pepper with that that little bit of acidity and that sweetness in there. Ooh, that would be good in meatloaf.
And you know what? The recipe also suggests some canned diced tomatoes in there too.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Sure.
You know what? I put diced tomatoes in most things.
Really?
It makes everything better. Yeah.
Now,
what kind of canned diced tomatoes do you use, Jimothy?
It depends. Most of the time, I reach for the fire roasted, just because it's got a little more flavor. It's a little more smoky. I will say I'm not a big fan. Like I like the spiciness of the hot rotel. Like it's legit spicy. So I'll go for that if I want some spice.
I didn't know there's
usually
different kinds.
I do use that rotel a lot. See, now I've been using I have to use the mild for everything because I cook with children that have little baby tongues, and it is a nightmare.
Oh yeah, if my daughter is eating it, there's no way I'm using the hot stuff.
And I want that hot rotel every time.
Yeah, there's a Chipotle rotel too.
Ooh.
That's got some spice to it and got that smoky Chipotle flavor. That's good stuff. Yeah.
The other thing I did was that Matthew's friend Paul, I think I'm stealing his level up, did create a custom game.
Oh, good.
Oh, that custom game was so fun.
That was amazing.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and now that there's dirt bikes in the game, it was all like dirt bikes, and he set.
Well, he turned up dirt bikes. He turned up the spawns on dirt bikes and turned everything else off. So there were just dirt bikes everywhere,
except for
dirt bikes and pistols.
And was that the one with all the crates? Yeah, he didn't turn off crates, so those are falling.
Yeah, the
too.
first game was like regular crates, only dirt bikes, and only pistols. And then it kind of just got crazier and crazier from there, where there was like constant double drops, and one was like all guns, all vehicles, all drops. It was great.
Excuse me, but is not custom games limited to 10 people at a minimum?
Not anymore.
Nope.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, next time we do one, we can invite our listeners if they want to come and join us and have a crazy game of weirdo PUBG with special rules. They are welcome to, because it was a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll figure that out. Anyway, Matt, how did you level up?
You know what? It's gone.
The mini meatloafs?
No. My level up is that I had a delicious hot toddy to start recording tonight. It was lemony and honey-y and had lots of whiskey in it. Delicious.
I was wondering what you were sipping on over there.
Delicious. Okay? And that's it, because we've gone on too long. So...
We did a whole loafing around.
Bam, bam, bam.
All right, let's talk about...
Can we do a burrito around? Let's do a burger
log?
around. I want to make some burgers.
Oh, man, I haven't had a burger in...
Is a burger
like
a
3
meatloaf?
weeks. It is.
No.
I think.
With the meatloaf, you add in like breadcrumbs and like egg.
My mom
You could do
would
that in
with
a burger,
burgers too. Yeah.
I mean, you definitely can with the burger, but at that point, you are basically making a meatloaf, and you might as well just make meatloaf.
I feel like if you add the breadcrumbs and you make it into a burger, you're just making like a flat meatball.
Yeah. You don't want a burger that dense. You want a burger to have some leeway, to have some give.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Anyway.
John.
Mhm.
Is $120 a good price for a PS3 that's in like really good condition?
Well, I think pre-pandemic they were going for well under $100, but I don't know what prices are. Take a look on, Craigslist and Facebook.
It's a fat boy.
I would actually go for because the Slim is a better buy than the Fat Boy.
Go for a Slim. Okay.
Yeah, because the fans on the Fat Boys die.
Yeah, that's what happened to mine, and it overheated.
Yeah. But then you can play, and you can also transfer from your Vita to and from your Vita to the PS3. So like your save games, you can move from one to the other. It's pretty cool.
On the Slim?
On any of them, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Quest log.
Quest log.
Are we calling it the quest log this time? We're not
I
calling
don't know
it
what else to call it.
Ashley's dick covering or whatever.
There was the Graymore report or something. I did erase that, but I can't remember.
Graymore report.
Yeah, because they're you keep getting these cutscenes of being, or these full screen texts of Ashley then went inside Le Monde.
Oh, yeah. The things I read half of.
So there is some kind of chronicle. I'll look it up for next time, but there is something described, like a official report from the VKP on Ashley's, yeah.
Nothing you're saying makes sense right now.
Well,
Because we
Quest
have
log
it.
for this
No,
episode.
we're going to call the
Quest
quest
log.
log the official report from the VKB on Ashley's thingamabob whatever.
yes, exactly.
What are the save points called in this game? They're not called Chronicles or something?
No, they're just glowy points.
Glow points. Welcome to the workshop.
They're I didn't even realize there are pre-game cutscenes that kind of establish what's happening in this game that actually
you could
should
easily
watch.
There's so many.
I
you
know.
can easily skip past a lot of information here at the beginning.
Yeah. So,
Weird choice.
I'm going to start with the pre-game cut. So this is if you leave it on the start menu and just let it roll, it'll eventually get to these cutscenes. So, VKP headquarters in Valmaine.
So this is the stuff that after the game was basically made, they were like, we didn't explain any of this. Let's just do a cutscene.
I don't know, all of this guy, Matsuda, all his games are kind of like this. If you, Final Fantasy Tactics has tons of this stuff. Cut to random people sitting at a board meeting talking about how they're going to murder
true.
people. And same
That's
with,
very true.
I've only played of his games. Oh, you know what? That happens in Final Fantasy 12. It happens in Ogre Tactics Ogre. It happens in Tactics, and it happens in this.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, most Final Fantasy games will do cutaways to the villains as well.
Wait, Vanessa, you have your question that you got to ask all of us before we start this.
Right.
What's the question?
Is your history with Vagrant's story, and
Snap.
how are you playing it for the show?
I have no history with this game. Someone told me it was bad once, and I never tried it. And they were
You're
right.
now the smartest person you've ever met
Yeah.
in your life.
They were right. And,
You wouldn't have liked it.
And I'm playing it on the Vita. The end.
So this was I nominated this game for the poll.
Mhm.
I think maybe
mistakes.
a year ago, I had never played this game. I had only heard of it through, I remember all of the glowing reviews when it came out, and I think I had, an issue of, EGM with this game on the cover. And I remember it just being lauded for being so groundbreaking, and even though it was short, being such a memorable experience and a real like push forward for the genre and for the PlayStation as a medium. And I just like, it was kind of a big deal, like critically, when this game came out. Like, people were into it and they're like, this is a sleeper hit. I can't believe more people aren't playing this. Like, it still comes up in, like, if you look on YouTube of like lists people make on YouTube of like underrated or influential PS1 games, like this game always comes up. And so, like, I had never played it, but I decided, like, it feels like a Square Roots game.
Yeah, it does. And it's technically a prequel to Final Fantasy XII and Final Fantasy Tactics.
Is it like a direct prequel?
Yeah,
I think
the
it's...
The quote that Vanessa quoted, I think, is from a character who's also quoted in Final Fantasy XII. I think.
I mean, so it's the same world, but it's not a direct sequel to either of those games, as they are not
Ivalice.
direct sequels to each other. It's Ivalice.
Yeah.
Do the Final Fantasy Tactics Advance games count? When are we going to play a Final Fantasy Tactics game?
You know, we've been dancing around them for
Would you rather
a
play
while.
Advance first, or would you rather play regular Tactics first?
I would rather play regular Tactics first by a mile.
Okay.
Those Advance games are just not very good.
Okay.
And I tried. Boy, I tried.
I, on my 21st birthday, received this game, as a birthday present, and I did play it for a few days. I think I either got to the dragon, that Matt just fought and then couldn't get past it, or I think there's like a skeleton boss that's coming up that I couldn't get past. I think I got as far as maybe the next chunker. Because I didn't realize how the affinity system worked. I was like, why is there an exclamation mark coming over Ashley's head? Why does this game keep saying I'm too fast or too slow? I don't understand what's happening. And so I never, understood the systems of this game, and I never got very far. So I am not a baby fresh eyes, but I have not played this game a ton. I just remember it being really hard and not understanding it. But now I understand it. Vanessa, what about you?
I'd never heard of this game until y'all started talking about it, and Jim put it up for the poll. My history with this game from that point is that I attempted to buy it, and it was not in the cards. I turned on my Vita, and I went into the store to find it, and I did find it, and then I clicked buy, and it was like, cannot connect in time to the PlayStation Store to buy this game. And I was like, oh, well, that's weird, but no big deal. I'll just go on to the PlayStation Store on the internet and buy it that way. And friends, you cannot do that. It is not there on the PlayStation Store on the internet. They have hidden it away in a special lockbox. It's gone back into the Disney vault. And I guess I was too slow because you guys all bought it. But
the reason why I think it's a glitch is because, like, when you go on Google and search, like, Vagrant Story PlayStation Store, like, the page exists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it was like a copyright takedown, they would remove it from their their sitemap, and you wouldn't be able to like find it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's there. It's just like there's some kind of internet technological web design reason why you can't get to the point where you can purchase the game.
I think they were like fiddling with their site for their Black Friday deals, and then they were like, oops, we accidentally deleted Vagrant Story. Well, no one's going to buy that anyway. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's one of those situations.
You could try like logging out of the PlayStation Store.
I tried doing it not logged in at all, and like I tried doing it from the PC, and the page is there and mostly load, but not quite get there.
I tried everything. I went on the Google I read all of the tech stuff, and I got more and more frustrated because I do not like technical issues. Ooh, they get my goat. And so, I
Like
just
Philip?
gave up. And I am watching a Let's Play. So I'm here
fine.
to bring you the Let's Play experience. I agree, Matt, that it's fine. I think that it's fine to access video games however you want to.
I might join you on the Let's Play train for this one. I don't know that I can keep up.
I also kind of gave up because I was scared because you guys had started playing it and we're talking about how it's hard and stuff, and I don't like challenges or
It's not just that. It's just
being
I'm busy.
pushed in any kind of way to do something outside my comfort zone.
It's not just that. It's just also that I'm busy, and the amount of time that you seem to have to spend, like, attacking a dummy to raise the point on one thing, on one weapon. The fact that you have to change weapons for every enemy type is there like a fast way to do that? You know what?
No.
Let's talk about this game.
There is not a fast way to do that.
Whose decision was that? To be like, well, for bats, you're going to want to use your hatchet, but for people, you're going to want to use your sword, but for undead people, you're going to want to use your other
lots
sword.
of games that involve that, like Horizon Zero Dawn comes to mind. You know, you have your different kinds of bows and different kinds of weapons for different kinds of things.
You're certainly right, but this is not optimized like a game like Horizon Zero Dawn. It's optimized like an old Final Fantasy game, so you have to go into your menu and you have to change to your sword.
Well, they had to map at least 4 buttons to go into first-person mode. So, and you think I'm kidding?
This is the only game I've played that makes use of the touchpad on the back because I'm constantly accidentally going into the menu.
Well, it's because the touchpad is mapped to L2 and R2, so the left side is bringing up your quick shortcuts for menu, and the right side
It's very and this might just be my Vita, but it's very touchy on
so
every time I touched it.
Mine is super inconsistent. When I'm trying to bring it up, I can't do it.
Yep.
And when I don't want to do it, is when it comes up. It's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm going to go out on a limb right now, right here, and say that nobody anywhere ever is going to want to go into first person in a Final Fantasy game.
No, you do, because the game is a series of tiny rooms, and they are very hard to see around, and you have to go into first person sometimes to locate doors that are located up by the fucking roof for some reason, because that's right, gang, this game has platforming. It's a Final Fantasy game with platforming in it.
Towards the end of this chunker, there are a couple jumps you have to make that I was like, "What the fuck? That's fucking stupid." Where you have to jump. We'll get to it, but it's the worst.
It's crazy.
Matt knows what I'm talking about because he probably just did it an hour ago.
I did. I've been playing this game all day. I've been playing it all day. Listen. Yeah, will you please explain? Have we even said what the game is? What is this game?
Vagrant Story. It's a game.
I know,
by
that's not what I mean.
Matsuda. It is a Squaresoft game from the year 2000, released on PlayStation 1. You can buy it on your PS TVs, your PlayStation Vitas, and your PS3s.
You definitely cannot buy it on those things because I tried and it does not work.
It might work on the PS3. I haven't tried that.
The listeners are going to listen to this. They're going to go check. They're going to get back to us. And it's going to turn out that this is a Vanessa issue.
I don't care. You know?
It's not your fault. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I am confident in my own experience. I know what happens to me. And I do not care if it's a Vanessa issue or not because I have decided to give up.
I have called this game Zelda with Thaco. Meaning the complicated system of attacking from Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition.
That's a great description, except for it's it's not even close to a Zelda game in design.
No, it actually, design-wise, reminds you a lot of those Rare games and Equinox and Solstice, those old Spectrum and Nintendo isometric RPG games. The Immortal is another one like this.
I don't recognize any of those names.
Equinox had that muscle wizard flexing that I found very interesting as a young man.
Did not recall. That does not bring anything to mind. But all right, Johnny, lay the scene. You've got this pregame cutscene. Tell us what happens. What's our introduction to this game?
This pre-game scene.
We're still in the pregame.
Oh, we haven't even started the pregame.
Oh, it's 10:10.
Oh my god!
I'll try to get through this as fast as I can. Okay, VKP headquarters.
Okay, no, hang on though. I got to get a drink, and I don't want to miss any of it.
Are you kidding? VKP headquarters in Valnaine. Sydney Lostaro, leader of the Mullenkamp sect, which is a cult, has occupied the Duke's Manor. This is like a Smoking Man, if you ever seen X-Files. It actually, I think, is inspired by X-Files because the leaders of the VKP sit around a big table at midnight. Mm-hmm. One of them is a smoking woman, and she's got like this real cool, like, Judi Dench in James Bond thing going on.
Yeah, but like anime.
Yeah. I really like this scene is amazing.
I liked when like they're sitting at the table and there's a flash of lightning at one point, and then you can see all these other people gathered around the edges of the room.
In shadow? Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, shadowy council.
The Mullenkamp have taken the Duke's
John Cougar Mullenkamp.
Yep. Have taken name a John Cougar Mellencamp song so we can riff on it.
What's the one about
Do it. What are you doing?
Jack and Diane.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, so she's like,
two American kids growing up in the heartland.
These two American kids have taken all the Duke's servants and family hostage.
What's that song called?
Jack and Diane.
Is that what the name of the song is?
Jack and Diane.
Here's a little ditty
something.
about Jack and Diane.
Yep.
That's a good song.
Goes on
Until your workers
thrill.
and
Long
kids
after the thrill of living is gone.
are taken hostage by a cult.
The guy who was the director of the high school I went to said that was his like class song when he graduated, Jack and Diane. And
boy.
it's just about like kids who get like knocked up and then are despondent with their life.
I always mix up the riff of that and the riff to Fast Car because they're kind of similar guitar riffs.
That is true.
Car. I remember
Vanessa, you saying that?
Jack
That's like an 80s version.
I know I told you guys
or
to
like an early 90s
whew.
version of. That's like if you made The Way by Fastball your graduation
That would
song.
be an amazing graduation song.
I graduated 2 years too early for that. I don't know why.
That would have been an amazing song, though.
Anyone can see the road that they walked up was paved with gold.
Just people like abandoning their family and
Summer
leaving.
I'm sure the song of my graduation was something like that Green Day song about this. I went to a whore.
Something unpredictable, but
So the
I
pregame
graduated
scene, huh?
in the era of that
hope
Vitamin
you had the
C
time
graduation
of
song
your
being the
life.
song that everybody used.
Not that one, Vanessa. I'm talking about I went to a whore and she said my life's a bore.
Yeah, no, wrong song, Vanessa. That's way too. He did not graduate in the mid 2000s.
Or maybe it's Where It's At by Beck. I could see that being.
Ooh, that would be a great graduation song.
I think
'Cause I got
that
two turntables and a microphone.
I didn't have one, but I'll just adopt that New Radicals song as my
Ooh.
You
graduation
get what
song.
you
Got
give.
the
Way
way
too
you
fucking
do
recent
it.
as well. Absolutely
No,
not.
that was like
too recent.
95.
No way. That what?
Yeah.
When did you guys graduate high school, by the way?
Sometime
Yeah.
in
I'm
the
a
Years
90s.
after
2000 boy. 2000.
Let's see. New
Class of 2000. Okay.
Radicals.
Wow, millennial
right.
boy.
That's me.
I graduated high school in 2014.
So right before we started the show.
Oh, you're right, Matt. It's November 98. I thought it was like a 95 song.
Okay, pregame cutscene.
All right. So, is this going to be like our Captain Marvel? Stan, I assure you this is not our Captain Marvel episode. We're actually going to talk about the
Pre-game
game.
cutscene.
So, the smoking lady is telling Ashley Riot all about the background of the Mullen camps taking the Duke's workers and family hostage. Their demand, and Matt, what do you think of the smoking lady? I thought she was really cool. Like the smoking man from X-Files.
I don't think I saw
She
this
has
one.
a great, her
I did
hair
not see
and
this
her
cutscene.
face look great.
Yeah, Matt, next time you boot up the
I'll
game.
Google it.
Or watch the,
Yeah, check it out.
I'll watch it on
like,
YouTube.
The faces of the characters in this game look great.
Yeah.
They look fantastic even.
Isn't
like
this
they
an
have
early
age
PlayStation
lines.
game?
They
No.
fucking
Isn't this like
blink.
pre-7?
Their hair blows in the wind. It looks great.
Their
Matt-
hair are tentacles.
Matt, this is,
but it looks good.
this is way after. This is 2000. So it was one of the last, I think maybe
This was
last.
This was in the last gasp of the PS1.
Yeah. PS2 was just coming out.
Yeah. And like people at the time were like, how did they wring this out of the PS1? Because like the facial like models and textures look fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like that smoking woman looks like how you would, like she has wrinkles, man. She looks like, it looks believable.
Yeah, it's like
I was surprised at how good it looks.
Yeah. So, the demands are they want to release their imprisoned comrades and they want the abdication of Cardinal Battistum. Smoking Lady also says, yes, I think they were responsible for the attempted assassination of their sovereign this Yuletide past, which does make me think there's Christmas in Ivalice, which also makes me think there's Jesus in Ivalice. Although I mean,
We have
technically,
established that these games are set on Earth.
although I guess technically Ivalice, or Yule is a pagan, holiday pre-Jesus. So who knows? The big man at the desk is very angry because of all this religious freedom. He's like, oh, the only reason we haven't cracked down on this cult is because of these religious freedom laws. And this is why we're getting these attacks. And the smoking lady says, hey, by the way, the Mullen camp's money, it's coming from the Duke.
The Duke?
The
Not
Duke.
the Duke who has retired from Parliament but still holds political sway in Ivalice.
Yes, that very Duke. I mean,
Oh no.
This is why we haven't played Final Fantasy Tactics, because it would be exactly like this. It's just random nonsense words politics.
it's not random nonsense words, Matt. It's like well thought out and interesting. So the Duke actually stopped Valendia's civil war. And that's why he can still, he has so much sway because he's this hero, like from
right.
before.
He's like General Washington or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Cardinal has sent his Crimson Blades in without the VKP's approval.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, John, I see your notes. Can we quickly do like an
puppets.
inventory of which factions belong to which
Sure.
like political thing? Because like I don't know, like I know there are blades and I know there are like breakers or whatever, but I don't know what allegiance they are
Okay.
or how all this works.
There's
Can you please
4
explain
groups in Leomond. So these are the
Okay.
4 important ones. There
Is
are,
Leomond a country?
it's
City?
a city.
It's like a city-state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a city
Okay.
it was abandoned after a series of horrible earthquakes only 25 years ago. It kind of looks like it was longer. So the 4 factions are the Mullen Camp. This is the cult started by Sydney, who maybe are getting money from the Duke. There's also the Crimson Blades, who are the personal army of the church. They're like the super religious ones. They're the ones who are always like gasping about magic and stuff. And they are they're in to kill the cult. They really want to destroy the Mullen Camp because they are heathens. There's also the Duke's forces who are coming in to kill everybody. And the VKP has set in their Risk Breaker squad. The VKP.
Risk breaker.
Yep. There is a description of what VKP stands for at some point. But I think
Yeah, I saw, it says it in the game, and I was
Valendia
like,
Knights of the Peace. So they're basically cops. ACAB. And,
I don't like I don't like Ashley very much, so that's not true. That dumper. Are we ready to talk about the dumper?
No, not yet.
We're not.
No, not yet.
Almost there.
So
Talk about that juicy dumper.
this is who that shadowy boardroom are, because they are directly they are the king's guard, basically. And that's why they aren't related to the Blades. They aren't related to the Duke. They are very specifically the King's army, the VKP. And the Risk Breakers are like their special agents.
The,
like the SWAT.
Crimson Blades are the conservatives.
They're like the hyper-religious ones, yeah.
Gotcha.
I would say maybe the Duke's men are, I don't know. It's I don't think there's direct parallels because it's pretty complicated. So, Smoking Lady orders Ashley to the manor. She's sent one agent ahead, Agent Merlot's a lady.
The Sydney guys are the Proud Boys.
For the first few hours of this game, I read that as Melrose.
Yeah. So,
is it not Melrose? Oh, it's Merlot's.
No, it's Merlos.
Okay. Sure.
Cut to. 2 hours later.
I didn't see any of this. I missed all of this. So
I did.
That annoys me. That's one strike, Vagrant story. You only get 3.
2 hours later, Melrose is waiting at Duke Bardova's manor in the Greylands. And
she's sort of outside it. She's like in the hedges around the manor,
she's hiding.
just staring at it.
Why don't I recognize any of these city or country names from the other 2 games set on this continent that I've read?
Because they're thousands of years later. So she greets Ashley, who she sees creeping up, and she's like, "Oh, my name is Callo Merlose. You can call me Cal." He ignores her and then just walks by her. She's like holding out her hand, and he's like, "How many men are there?" And she says,
"He's a dick."
Yep.
And although I am not ready to talk about his dumper, I do think we should talk about his head.
Okay, let's talk about his head.
He has Seymour Guano features.
He has Seymour Guano hair. I mean, he's got 2 big antennae. He kind of looks like a Heartless. He kind of looks like the inspiration for Seymour Guano.
Heartless is kind of a stretch. But
what?
John earlier, maybe it was last night, was asking how would you describe Ashley's hair? And I was like, oh, Seymour Guado.
Yeah.
Because he's got
I think that's
the
an
bangs.
Insult to Seymour Guado. Seymour had
I don't think so. I think it's a compliment. This guy's hot.
Well,
he's hot.
I mean, I can't deny that.
Yeah.
He is dismissive to women, which we all know Vanessa
Have you seen his quads and or dumper?
I have seen it. I've seen more of it than I care to.
I think we have to talk about the dumper now.
I cannot believe the ass on this man. He is thick with 2 C's. It's crazy. It's the design of the characters are all very thin and wispy, but for some reason they gave him these huge fucking legitimately childbearing hips, and he just bounces that butt around.
I thought
it's
that was
crazy.
just his jodhpurs or his cargo shorts that were making his hips so wide.
I don't think so, because every character has that waspish waist and then wide hips, but his are widest of all. And he also has, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I am pretty sure that he has in the back of his pants 2 triangle cutouts.
I call them peekaboo windows.
Well, so what he seems to have, is he has a tunic on that's almost like a loincloth that goes from his neck down to his balls, and then he's got a skirt on.
Wait,
and
from
it's
your
not
neck to your balls. They call that a unitard.
No,
if
that's
it goes
not what a
from
unitard
your
is.
neck to your balls,
but it's a loincloth because it seems to have flaps, not wrap around.
Oh, it's not tucked in under his balls.
I think it's got flap around, and the skirt that he's wearing does. I mean, maybe they're shorts, but they're not even it's not a full pair of shorts. There's huge holes in them. It's just leather pantaloons or something.
Chaps? Are they chaps?
They're kind of half chaps, yeah, and they don't match up. So yeah, just
it's you have a front fabric panel to fit over your front junk, and then a back fabric panel to go behind your butt and your butthole, and then they're held together by shoelaces in the same way that a shoe would be put together.
Well, Vanessa was describing them until we interrupted her.
Oh, sorry, Vanessa.
So I took it as just like sort of not like neither upper nor lower, but just like right in the middle of his butt cheek, 2 little triangle peekaboo windows to just see the butt. But I'm looking now at this rendering, which I just found online, and it has him like in a thong with some shorts, but then the shorts have like a sort of M-shaped window in the back. And so what I took as the peekaboo window was actually the thong covering most of his butt, and then his lower cheeks are exposed along with some of his legs.
Can you post that in the chat? I want to see that.
I will post that in the chat.
Meanwhile, Matthew's posted a picture of the Heartless, and I see what he's talking about. It is the same as the little ant antennas from the Heartless. And both,
I agree. Matt is correct, and Matt just posted the picture I was looking at.
There is a lot of butt there. I have to admit.
Mm-hmm. That's most of his butt.
That's not a thong.
No, that's like it is.
There's
like
a lot of.
He's wearing
very
a little
distinct
Speedo.
line.
He's wearing a little Speedo.
Yes,
but his chap shorts.
You know what though? His posture A100.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great posture.
It does.
That's Seymour Guado hair, guys. I'm sorry. Like, I feel like the Heartless thing is more of like just kind of a little bigger cowlick. That's Guado.
It is Seymour Guado hair as well. It's all the same, Jim.
And I do like the little shields he's got on his elbows, and Merlot's has one of those too.
They do have big red crosses on them, John. This is
super dope.
Another indication that Jesus does exist in this universe.
These character designs, like, they look cool. Like, his elbow shield, like, when you see him drawn in that first picture Matthew sent, I think it looks cool.
That's everything, like...
That art style maybe is what I'm gravitating towards.
His outfit is so fucking ridiculous that it rivals Tidus from Final Fantasy X for absurdity.
But it has
wearing a little pair of leather shorts.
I mean, he has a peekaboo window so you can see his butt.
Insane. And you know what, Jim? I'm glad you like it. It's the stupidest looking thing I've ever seen. That hair is absurd. It's
and he's
two
also
antenna.
wearing like a razorback tank top like the ladies wear these days, where it just goes up his back and then like his full shoulders and the side of his back are exposed. In fact, his whole side is
if that guy in that first drawing showed up at my door, I'd be like, that guy's gonna fuck me up.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his cute fucking skirt and his like awesome shirt that is so thin up the middle that his nipples are out. His nipples are exposed.
Yeah. You could fucking cut yourself on any of those guys, on any of that guy's features.
Now,
like his nose, his chin, his chest. You're gonna fucking slice yourself open on that shit.
Akihiko Yoshida is the character designer for this game. And this might be apocryphal because I have not read this interview myself, but my ex-boyfriend Robbie told me about this a long time ago, that he was very inspired by leather stuff for all his designs. Like, I believe he is a queer man and he is into leather. And so like this was kind of his sort of anime version of leather bondage gear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, if someone could find that interview, not here now, but, one of our listeners, if you know if Robbie, I'm sure Robbie didn't make that up because he's really good at researching. So, I'd love to read that and sort of read more about that. Anyway. So, that might explain, we haven't even got to Sydney's outfit yet, and we will. Don't worry. We will.
Sydney is showing a part of his body that I never expected to see in a game like this.
We talk about deep V's and we talk about, what was the words you came up for the V on men?
The arrows of Adonis, and I did not come up with that.
Well, the one you like to use. Sorry.
Vanessa gets credit for arrows.
So he also is the character designer for like Ogre Battle and all of those games and Bravely Default and Nier Automata.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
He did Nier too.
He's still very active.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's done a ton.
Good for him.
Yeah. Anyway, so, we're almost through the pre-game intro into the real game intro. So let's finish up the pre-game intro.
Holy shit.
So there are a dozen men, Merlot estimates, and 34 hostages, including the Duke's family and servants. But the Duke isn't there. But then they notice there's a fire in the tower. The Blades have begun their attack, ignoring the VKP. And she's like, Merlot, and Ashley starts to leave, and she's like, wait, don't you want to wait until reinforcements arrive? And Ashley turns to her.
Yes, and let me just say before you say this is the moment I came to hate Ashley, and we're not even in the game proper yet.
Ashley turns to the camera and says, reinforcements. I am the reinforcements.
Okay, number one, Great Christian Slater.
Mm-hmm. Now that'd be more of reinforcements.
Basically what
I
you said.
am the Okay. So now the real game intro. That one of the Cardinals' men is stabbing somebody. They are looking for Sydney. Ashley runs through the gate and cuts down the portcullis. The Blades inside are ordered to kill the hostages. And then, as Ashley's listening to this, he does knock a box over because he, as we'll find out, is a terrible secret agent. So
I loved this because it like shows him sneaking around, and then it cuts to the box, and the box is like on the edge of this pile of crates, and it's sort of like jostling a little bit, and then it shows him sneaking, and then it shows the box, and the box is like wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then it shows him sneaking, then it shows the box like slide. You really get a lot of foreshadowing about this box.
So it's your first fight. You sort of learn how the combat system works. I hadn't played this in 10 years or so. So I was like, wait, when do I get my little notification that it's my turn to fight? There is no notification. You just have to, well, unlike Parasite Eve, you don't really wait until your next action. You can kind of spam actions. If you can get in before the enemy moves. So you can like do as many as you want. There's no waiting. There's no ATB. These two guys are pushovers. You can target limbs. It is the Parasite Eve style. So like a big, hemisphere appears over you, showing your range. Each weapon has different range. And within that, you can target head, arms, different parts of monsters or whatever.
There are like little HP numbers assigned to each body part. I don't know what they mean.
That's
or
the
like
damage you
where
do.
is best to target. How is that information useful?
The most useful one is the last percentage is the chance to hit. So you want to hit whatever has the highest chance of being successful, but you also do, if you like damage their arms or legs or head, you do different, like you can reduce their intelligence or their attack by damaging their limbs or movement.
Interesting.
The guy
Everything I read said it made more sense to focus on just killing them as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, for like regular enemies, but like and we'll get to this, but some of the bosses, I felt like I was not targeting the right limb.
I don't know. So you, so where is it? Okay. The two Blades are pushovers. You head inside. Ashley immediately finds Sydney, the one everyone's looking for. And, Sydney is yelling to his cultists to find something. They're like, oh, we haven't found it yet. Does this thing even really exist? And Hardin seems to be doubting Sydney's power. Hardin is a generic looking brown haired guy. We should talk about Sydney now. 'Cause Sydney is there.
Let's talk about Sydney. It doesn't matter what Sydney looks like, or what he has going on.
You don't
except
think?
for the fact that he, has pants so low that, like, the base of his penis is for sure out.
I have, the official art. I'm going to post someone's already posted it.
Mm-hmm.
Vanessa has already. So let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, I decided to look up the timeline for the Ivalice whatever universe. And this says that, Vagrant story being set in Ivalice is actually a retcon, and it's never referenced in the game.
Oh.
Whoa. So like it does or doesn't take place in Ivalice?
It does.
I mean,
kind of.
it does now, like canonically, because that's what Square decided, but it does not in the way that I guess that this game came out after Final Fantasy Tactics? I didn't realize that.
So Vanessa, the one I posted is a little bigger, so you can really see that detail that you'll need to see.
You know, I don't even need to see that because this is the official art, but in the game, I would say even more so, it looks like he's wearing just kind of a low-cut pair of pants, but with a special notch. So it will just notch down to show, again, the base of his penis.
I mean, that is the man's dick for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
There's
100%.
no way you can have male anatomy and not have that be that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a dick.
And in the
It's
official
covered,
art,
but it's a dick. I mean,
in the
that's fine,
official
I
art, you
guess.
see a dick bulge, so he does have a penis. And where that little part is right above the dick bulge is the base. So I would agree with Vanessa that you can see the very tip, and he is completely hairless.
He is completely. Well, I mean, it's not on his head. He's
either
beautiful
naturally hairless
silver
or
hair.
he has shaved very carefully. He does
He's
not
got
have
weirdly.
nipples.
He doesn't have abs either, which he's got like the definition of other muscles around it, but he just has no abdominal muscles at all.
No, he's very trim and slim. He doesn't wear a shirt. He does have 2 metal arms like a robot.
I mean, I'd argue that he doesn't have pants, and I don't know that those are robot arms and not just armor.
Yeah, I think it's his kinky armor with like
Okay,
Freddy.
it's his kinky armor. But he
do
for
have
sure
Freddy
does
gloves.
not have nipples. Like, we can agree with that.
Yeah, no,
He
100%.
looks
I don't know,
sort
that
of
could be a
like
nipple.
Yeah.
kinkier Sephiroth, but with short
Yeah.
hair.
What about Kuja? Him versus
I
Kuja.
like his design more than Sephiroth. I mean, I would like to zip his pants up, but other than that, I like his design more than I like Sephiroth. He looks
Do you
good.
like his half cape that is attached at groin level?
What is that called? That's not a cape. That's
It's like a skirt.
it's a butt cape.
It's a sort of a
do like
skirt
it.
overlay.
I like his pointy boots.
I don't want to zip up his pants. I think it's great. I mean, I don't know why men's fashion, like women's fashion a while ago, like the lower part of the butt cheek became very popular to show. I don't know why the base of the penis has been
Wait, the
so
lower?
ignored by the fashion industry.
The lower part of the butt
Normalize
cheek?
more penis visibility.
Yeah.
Do you mean like the underside of the butt? Like with
Yeah,
like
yeah.
super high
like
shorts?
super high shorts.
Oh.
You know, if women are out there wearing super high shorts, then men should be out there wearing super low pants, just being like,
That's
look,
underbutt.
here's where the phallus joins to the body.
I do like
Love some underbutt.
the cross stitching holding the leather pants he has on, like at the top. Like you can see how he gets in and out of them, basically like slides them on and then tightens the drawstrings at the top.
That's kind of a good design for really tight pants, though.
It looks like he forgot to like zip his pants up, though, is the thing. Like it looks like he just went and peed and got distracted. And
Did he
forgot to
forget,
tie
I
the
don't
or
top.
think he
did he
forgot.
That is
forget?
definitely the
Wink.
base of his dick.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
is crazy.
That's part of his look.
I mean, now that I'm really looking at it, that's 100% a chunk of that man's
Yeah,
dick.
I'm not disagreeing with anyone
Oh,
here.
totally, yeah.
All right.
And his arm armor is connected to both sides through these straps
That's not.
that
Is
cross
that
over
armor?
his.
I thought he just had like metal robot arms.
I feel like we're going
I
to
feel it. I think it's armor
Because they got like claws and shit.
because it's being held on with these. Yeah, it's
That's true.
I guess so. Okay. I mean, they're so skinny.
Yeah, I sent a photo of the avatar from the game because, again, I would say that it's like even more clearly in the like 3D pixel version, his pant is just down there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like his little cutout in the 3D model version is even shaped like his dick. It's like,
Oh.
He
wow.
either just had or is expecting in the next few minutes to have like his dong out.
well
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
3D model version. I think he's doing the Buffalo. What's his name? The guy from
Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill thing of tucking. Like he looks like he's doing a Buffalo Bill tuck, and that's why you aren't seeing
Yeah.
anything.
He's doing like a waistband tuck. It's just to the side of his
a waistband tuck is up.
opening.
Yeah.
If he was doing a waistband
up
tuck,
and
you
to
would
the
see the
side
tip
a
of his
little bit.
penis.
He's doing a modified waistband tuck.
I think he's
no
doing a
waistband there.
Anyway.
I think it's just his dick that's out. There's a bulge.
Yeah, I don't think it's a tuck. I think it's just
It's
like
not a tuck.
It's
It's
a
just his
careful
dick.
little window. It's like how much of the shaft can
We're
I show
an hour
without
and
showing the
10
head
minutes
of my
into
dick?
this episode.
But Matt, this is very important. I mean, this
We're
is what
still in
people.
the fucking
This is
prequel
why
stuff.
people voted for this. Is for basically for us to discuss Sydney's outfit.
I mean,
So
I'm pro
Guys, if
Sydney's
you
outfit.
look in that
I
photo
would
that
never.
Vanessa sent, like, there's a little shading up by, like, where it crisscrosses, like, by his, like, under his belly button. I think that's where his dick is. I think it's an upwards modified waistband tuck.
That's ridiculous. You would literally see the head of his penis.
yeah.
It's not ridiculous. If it's modified, meaning it points to the side, it stays under the fabric. If
Which
his
way do you
waistband
think it's
stuff is tight
pointing?
enough, I think it's pointing to the left.
So,
I can see it.
His left or our left?
I mean, this
His
is a blue, is the dress blue and black or white and gold situation. But
I'm going to
we
say
can all
Buffalo
agree
Bill
that that's
tuck.
a man's dick, right?
Well, I think it's hidden, but we'll come back to that later.
Even if he's doing a tuck, that's still the base of his penis. Like, that's still for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can put it left or you can put it right or you can put it straight down, but it's still got attached to your body somewhere.
Yeah. Yes.
He looks like he's wearing pants that he stole from, like, a Cenobite.
Are we sure this isn't a Castle Freak situation?
This is a Cenobite situation, it feels like. This
No,
guy's a
he
Cenobite.
has a penis.
Well, I'm sure he has a penis, but, like, he's kind of in bondage gear, and he's a black magic guy. He's a Cenobite. He's got claws. He's a
That's a
Hellraiser.
stretch that nobody's on board for.
Ashley comes in and aims a bowgun at Sydney's heart.
Wait,
And-
are we just like done talking about this now? I don't feel
we?
like I've said enough.
Okay,
I guess
Vanessa,
we'll have more opportunities
you have.
further
Do you want
in
a
the
closing statement for now?
game. My closing statement is that I want everyone to understand that by no means are we suggesting that you can see his dick head. Like, that would be too far. But you can
Jim
see
seemed
the
to be.
entire rest of his penis.
I mean, if that's the entire rest of his penis.
Guys, I don't see the penis. I wish I could see the penis that you guys are seeing, but I just don't see it.
either. I think
You
I'm
just-
going for
I don't see a
severe
penis.
tuck.
I'm sorry.
You
That's
have
why I
to
think
look-
it's a tuck. That's why I think it's a tuck.
I
think it's
see
a
what
tuck,
Vanessa's talking about.
In the official art, I see the dick bulge, but not in the game model.
But that cut above above the bulge, that cut of skin that you can see, like it's a little downward triangle.
That's lighting, bro.
That's his
That's not a
dick.
dickhead.
No,
that's lighting.
It's not.
No,
Nobody's
it
saying
isn't.
it's his head. Nobody's saying it's his dick
have you ever
head. I'm
seen
saying that
someone
is
tuck?
legitimately
That's-
the
if
root
someone
of
doesn't
his
have a-
penis.
You know what? Sydney does
John,
not
if it's
have...
tucked, then I'm right. Because if
No.
it's tucked,
If it's tucked, you wouldn't be able to
it doesn't
see it.
go away.
It doesn't go away, but you wouldn't see it from that position with that cut of fabric.
We need photo editing software. We need a fucking scientist to come in here and tell us where the dick is.
Vanessa, am I right?
And,
Is that,
like-
are you talking about that little cut of triangle above the
Yes.
bulge that is that's very clearly the base of his penis.
That's not the base of his
Like the
penis.
top of the base.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
if it
It's
wasn't
almost like a
tucked, I would
cleavage
agree.
cut. It's almost like on a shirt. It's almost like the little cut to show the cleavage. It's like a little cut in his pants to show the base of his dick.
But you
So-
can't move the base
But
with
there's
a
no
tuck.
dick base there. There's
Exactly.
no dick base.
All right,
Exactly.
There's no
I
dick
think
base.
we're going to have to come back to this
That's where
later.
his pubes
I think
should be.
actually, I think that John's kind of right because you kind of can. Like that's a movable area. You can kind of squeeze that between your legs.
Yeah, you can. I've seen people do
Yes.
it. 100%.
Yes.
So, okay. So,
This is the best show we've ever done.
I agree.
I'm gonna have another drink.
What a weird episode this is.
So, Sydney sees Ash and recognizes him immediately. He's not of the Blades. He's a risk breaker, a royal guard dog. Sydney grabs,
breaker.
so Ashley's like, I've got a bowgun aimed at your heart. And Sydney's like, oh yeah, well, I'm just going to take this little sword very quickly. And he spins around and, Ashley's a crack shot gets him square in the heart.
Yeah, game over.
Game
This is pretty
over.
cool.
Credits. So Ashley does immediately check to see if he's alive. He is dead. And then hears a noise and turns around and Hardin has come back in carrying a little boy.
He's got a little fancy Fauntleroy boy.
Exactly. A Larsa, if you will. But then he turns around and Sydney says, I'm the one you want. And Sydney is alive with a crossbow bolt in his heart. And he says, Hardin, take the boy to Leamond. Ash says, hey, leave the coming back from the dead stuff to fairy tales. And then Sydney says, you should have more respect for fairy tales. And then a dragon with spears in its head crashes through the roof. Sydney takes this chance to jump out of a stained glass window, and Ashley has to fight this zombie dragon with many spears embedded in it. I think this is a cool design. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. I will say the big chunky bosses look good. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's often the case with these PS1 games. Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross had a similar thing where like the big bosses look really great.
You do fight the zombie dragon. You kill it pretty fast, and then Ashley runs to the window where Sydney escaped and looks outside. The sun is coming up over the Greylands. Birds fly by in a very what's the name of the director? He did Face Off and all that.
John Woo.
Yeah, it's a very John Woo shot with the birds flying by as he looks out, like this sweeping panoramic shot of the manor.
Yeah.
And then you get he's got to go to Leamond, and you get a late title card, Vagrant Story. Cut to Duke's place.
Holy fucking shit.
Duke is in bed. And it was
he's in like a big 4-poster bed, and he's so
yeah,
cozy.
it's awesome. He's in like a king bed, like a fantasy.
He's in like a big giant like 4-post canopy bed.
So what are the odds?
Like a big rich guy bed.
So he's
California
like,
king size.
He's a very weak man. What are the odds he like drinks some dark magic potion at the end and turns into a giant monster? Because if you try to
100%.
I don't know. This guy's more of like
110%.
I feel like a political figurehead guy. This
yeah,
guy's
he
gonna
probably
go
gets
out like a
stabbed
coward.
by somebody.
Yeah.
He's gonna get
He's gonna
stabbed
go
in
out
the
like
back.
a coward.
If he-
yeah, he's gonna like fall off a roof or like something like that.
If
And
he
he's
doesn't,
going to be like, oh, I'm sorry. And probably he's going to be betrayed by Sydney.
I only wanted to do X.
He's already
as
betrayed
falling to his
Sydney.
death.
so
Has he?
well, you'll right now. So, it was the Cardinals men that attacked his palace and or attacked the Mullen camps in the palace in his manor, and they were Knights of the Cross led by Guildenstern, my lord. So these are the Crimson Blades. The Crimson Blades are going to Leamond in pursuit of Sydney. The Duke tells them, "Hey, could you just set fire to my manor? Get someone in blade armor." Because Sydney used his wyvern, and the Duke doesn't want anyone to know about that. He's going to kill the hostages, his own family and servants, which seems a little hardcore.
I think that's cool. Like, I liked the immediate escalation to killing hostages.
And the hostages
I
are his
thought
own
that
family.
was like, okay, this is like this let you know there are some stakes. Like, they're gonna kill some innocent people.
Mm-hmm.
This is a heated conflict. I liked it.
Mm-hmm. So then, let's see. So his own family, the VKP, the Valendia Knights of the Peace, have sent a squad to deal with Sydney and the cult. These are the risk breakers. The Duke is like, hey, I want you guys to go mop up Leamond, kill everybody, including the risk breakers, the Blades, and the Mullen camp. And the guy's like, what of Lil Lord Joshua? And the Duke's like, I don't want that boy. He's my light.
Little Lord Joshua.
And then it cut to, pans over to a painting of the Duke and his wife with little Lord Joshua there.
Did you say that he says he doesn't want that boy? I thought that he said he did, and he's his little light.
Well, he says he wants no harm to come of little Lord
Oh, okay.
Joshua.
Yeah.
Oh, right. He does say
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's like the one person he doesn't want killed. So he's 100% gonna die. Cut to Laymond. You see inside this little room, Cal is walking around and she finds 2 sentinels murdered. She walks outside and explains the situation to Ashley. She's like, okay, there's only this one way in. The route to the north is blocked by some sheer cliffs. There's dangerous whirlpools around the city, ever since the earthquake. And, she has already sent agents in and they never came back. So her and Ashley head inside to the wine cellar. And, she's very into, Ashley's like, hey, that's a lot of protection for a wine cellar. And she's like, oh, this stuff's like super valuable. And he's like,
yeah,
well,
she wants some of that wine, which I appreciate.
And she's like, well, Sydney, so he's like, tell me about this Sydney. And she's like, he's a cult leader. The VKP doesn't actually believe he's a prophet, and the cult is a front set up by the Duke.
A front for what, though?
A front for the Duke's own forces that he's not supposed to have. So maybe the attacks on Sydney are a sign of the 2 falling out.
Okay, so who does Ashley work for then?
Ashley works for
king,
the
I guess?
VKP. Yeah, the king.
So there's a king and a cardinal.
Yeah, and a Duke.
And
Yeah. So the Duke, the king, there's a king or a queen that runs the country, but the Duke is a political player that's making moves.
And he's
so king Riskbreaker. Cardinal VKP.
No, Cardinal
Knights.
Yeah, the Riskbreakers are a part of the VKP. They're like the SWAT team of the VKP.
Oh, okay. So VKP plus Riskbreaker equals king. And then Cardinal equals Blades?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And then Sydney equals Mullenkamp.
Mullenkamp is the cult, and then isn't there another faction?
There's the Duke's
but hold
private
on,
army.
but Mullenkamp plus the Duke are kind of the same thing? Because the Duke is in league with Sydney.
But he's betrayed Sydney already. Like he's
my God.
sending his own army, who is not the Mullenkamp, to kill everyone.
Cripes.
So he's busted. He's caught red-handed.
He needs to get rid of Sydney.
Yeah,
or
in this scheme
metal-handed.
to use Mullenkamp as his personal army, and has now decided to wipe them out himself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we don't know why
You
yet.
know what? Like, that's why I don't like these like geopolitical games, because like it's hard for me to follow them.
Yeah, you got it. You got it so far.
It fails to easily or accurately like spell this out. I mean,
there's a secret cutscene you have to wait through the title screen that explains who everyone is.
Yeah, when you told me that today, I was like, I want to watch that, but I'm not going to, just on principle. Like, this game should have made me watch that.
No, Jim, you should, because the lady's so cool.
Oh, I do like that smoking lady.
Yeah. So the cult's followers say that Sydney can see the future. They say he's a miracle. And Cal, and so then, Cal's like, hey, aren't I coming with you? And Ashley's like, no, you're an untrained soldier. You would just be a hindrance. So.
Well, how does he know? And what is he even talking about? We haven't talked about what she wears. She wears like a pretty cute black mini skirt.
She does, and her hair is animated so well.
And she's got a little elbow shield, just one. Ashley has 2.
Yeah, because she's not
elbow
trained.
Shields, man. I feel like those are would be so practical.
She does have very high heels and sort of like stockings on.
She is wearing a black miniskirt and high heels.
I wasn't sure if you could see her butt or not in one of the cutscenes, but you cannot. She's just wearing a very tight shirt that's shiny around her butt.
I think that's how you know that she's not a trained soldier, is that she hasn't earned her butt cutouts.
You gotta earn your butt windows.
Yeah. She's got long black hair. Part of it's braided in the front. She's kind of got the same face as Ashley.
They do look pretty similar in the face, yeah.
Yeah. And, so that's her. So, he does slam the door in her face, and she's like, all right then, and turns around to walk back up the stairs. But who should we see on the staircase, Vanessa?
Sydney!
She's immediately captured.
she's captured.
We sort of glossed over the part where Sydney got shot through the heart and then pulled the bolt out of his chest and was like,
Yeah.
oh, you really got me with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
So he is like a magic guy.
Yeah.
Because like he summons like, because one of the things that the Duke does is he wants to cover everything up because like he doesn't want to have to explain to people that things like wyverns, which is what Sydney summoned for you to fight at the beginning. He doesn't want people to know they exist.
Yeah.
So he's like, just clean up everything, like burn the whole manor down. And he's like, he tells his troops to dress up as the other team and burn his place down.
It's a real no Russian moment.
It is. It is a very no Russian moment. F in the chat.
Yep.
For respects.
So, now the game starts. We're now in the game, Matt. Fortunately, there's not that many cutscenes once the game actually starts.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
game,
no,
fortunately, there's not a lot to this. It's just kind of walk into a room, fight some monsters, walk into a room, push a box.
So it's an isometric action-y RPG. And just like the old Spectrum games, each room has a name, and you can definitely see the politics the game's trying to show. Like, some of the names of the wine cellar include the Chamber of Fear, a laborer's thirst, the rich drown in wine. I like all that.
I like that.
Yeah, no, the names of the rooms are pretty cool. But yeah, I
feel like this has that same kind of classist mentality that Final Fantasy Tactics does, which I feel like kind of thematically it kind of aligns with, which is like rich people suck.
Yep. The rich and powerful are the worst and don't give a shit about anyone.
Totally. Just like in real life.
As Ashley starts walking through the first room, there's a little earthquake. And he's like, well, I don't want to be buried alive here. He makes it through a couple of rooms, fights. You do get your first real combat of fighting bats and a wolf. And he gets to this room and some Crimson Blade guys are there. They're trying to get through a door, but it's locked by a grimoire and keeps electrocuting them. They are separated from the rest of the blades because that door just randomly magically closed. But then one of them is like, oh, check out this in the next room. So they leave. And
they keep being like, grimoire this and grimoire that. And Ashley's like, a grimoire?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get Ashley's deal yet.
Oh, also, we should say that I really like how speech bubbles and stuff are done in this game.
Oh, it's very comic booky. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. They're like really jagged thought and speech balloons and stuff and different fonts. It looks really neat.
Yeah, and like, John, you said this earlier, but the direction of the cutscenes is pretty great. Like, and they're able to make really good use of like the in-game engine for them, and it doesn't feel out of place. And I just kind of like the flow of all that.
I think the only games to really do cutscenes this well, this early on, are Metal Gear, in engine anyways, or Metal Gear and this.
Yeah, this does feel very like kind of Metal Gear, where everything's kind of in engine and they're using the kind of in-game character models, but like in a way that like is very cinematic. Mm-hmm. I like it. It works really well.
Mm-hmm. And so then you get you follow them to the next room, and they are just stunned at this floating magic rock. They're like, this is unholy. They're using the dark magics to make this rock move. And then one of the soldiers is like, well, if we use magic, we could like fly farther. We could, we'd be more powerful. And the guy's like, if pigs could fly. And he's like, yeah, pigs could fly like that rock if we use magic.
Mm-hmm. They also like propose that they make all of the cobblestones in a street fly.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know why you would do that. I guess then you just have a flying street.
I guess. So they do, but then Ashley, being a terrible spy, does, gasp because he does see a little ghost boy.
You know what? I'm honestly really interested to figure out what this ghost boy's deal is.
I think we can,
because he show up a couple times and you get a real like traumatic cutscene later in that we'll talk about. Mm-hmm. But like, you know what? I'm into it.
Vanessa, how do you feel? You know, this ghost is a ghost.
I know the ghost is a ghost, and I also made some assumptions about this ghost, which I do not know if they're true yet or not. Mm-hmm. But I got the impression that the ghost is either his secret son or he himself.
The ghost
Is
says
it not
we
the
have to
kid?
help. Yeah, the ghost says we have to help father in a second.
Well, he says that later.
Yeah.
He says that towards the end of the chunker.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just a little gray boy.
Yeah, it is a little ghost boy, and you don't know who it is yet. So, he's attacked by the blades. So you do
Is
fight
it not
them.
the kid that the guy talked about? I thought it was.
It's not
No,
Little Lord
it's a different kid.
Little Lord Joshua. It is not.
Little Lord Fonzie. I thought that's what you were going to say.
I was going to say Font.
Little Lord Fonzie.
I was going to say Font Leroy.
May I give you a token for the jukebox, young Fonzie?
Remember Fonzie in Darkseid 2?
Yeah, Jack.
Yep.
Hang loose.
So, you are attacked by the Crimson Blades. You then fight through some more rooms, and there's something I don't want to gloss over here. Block pushing puzzles, friends.
So many block pushing puzzles.
It's not even just block pushing. It's block pushing, block picking up, block stacking.
Block destroying.
Because there's some like
Block
Tomb Raider jumping stuff you got to do, and you got to make sure you have enough height to get to cliffs and to get to secret rooms.
Isometric platforming. P-fucking-U.
Yep. Yeah, totally. Especially with this game's fucking dog shit camera.
And there's 3 different types of blocks. There's like crates you can pick up, crates you can slide, rocks you can roll. I think that's all I've found so far.
Yeah, but you can destroy everything but the rocks.
Yeah.
So, and there are puzzles that require you to like destroy X block to more easily slide this block.
Yeah.
Or destroy this block to pick up this one. So like, it's not, I wouldn't say these are hard puzzles, but they are a little too esoteric, I think.
I think they're padding out the game. It's like,
yeah, because like there's really no explainer for like use this button to pick up this box.
Oh,
You
no,
just
but that's
kinda
true
have to
for
do it.
everything in this game. There's no explainer on how to do a single thing in this game.
I do like that his jump.
very true.
Like you can like spin around as you're jumping. Like you can do full circles as you jump. It's very silly. The jumping is very floaty, which I guess is because it's isometric to make it a little less horrible.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a little forgiving, I guess,
Well,
but still
it's
kind of
like,
awkward.
for the most part, I didn't have any issues with it other than it was fucking annoying and stupid. It wasn't like Mario where it was like hard.
The right
Because it was so
analog
bad.
stick. This is before everyone decided to use the right analog stick to do camera. So it does go to first person mode, just like start
Yeah.
and R2.
Nothing like your thumb having years of training to hit that analog stick
Yeah, no
to move
kidding.
the camera, and instead it slowly taking you into first person mode.
So you do
Guys,
with
am I
like
the-
inverted control up and down, which is great.
you can change that.
Am I
in options.
Am I the only one of us who like is so tripped out by the fact that the camera is not inverted from the way that it is?
There is camera
'Cause, like,
options, I believe.
But no, it won't let you change that.
Oh, okay.
But like, so like, I keep wanting to, when I shift the camera around, I always hit the opposite button.
Oh, okay.
So like, you have to hit the button in the way that you want the camera to move, not the way that you want to see,
Mm-hmm.
which is so counterintuitive. Like, oh, well, where's the camera at? Like, it's shitty game design. And like, you know what? That's a big flaw that I've realized that I have is like back when this game came out, it probably felt okay. Like that's probably what people expected. Nowadays, it's not. And
I mean-
so like it's judging a game by today's standards, I feel like a little bit, but like it's not a great experience.
Well, I mean, it's not just judging it by today's standards. It does not work well for what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
You can't. You have to go into first person because it's isometric, so you can rotate the camera, but that's it. And I don't know about you guys, but I constantly like got lost and had to check my map and see what room I was in.
The game does need a compass.
Like I would walk into a room, get turned around, and just walk right back through the same door.
Oh, I do that too.
'Cause it's
yeah.
all
And all
brown.
the rooms, it all looks the same, and it's brown and
all
shitty
just
and
brown
polygonal
cryptos, yeah.
and fucking over
gets
and
a
over
little more
again. I was just
colorful
like,
once you get
I'm lost.
outside.
So that's something I was wondering. I wasn't sure we were ever going to make it outside. So I guess that'll be.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I like about this game is that The whole thing takes place within like a 24-hour period, which like I think is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't mention that as you start exploring around, you get little snippets of this report from the VKP that is so reports say that Ashley walked into the crypt here and the survivors mentioned this happened and that happened.
Where do you see those at?
Like it's just like full screen text that shows up. Like it takes the whole screen. Like it's only happened twice so far.
John's right. I saw it too.
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't remember.
Yeah.
I skimmed it and don't remember really reading it. Don't really remember what it said.
So eventually you run into a big old Minotaur or Minotaur. And
it's a Minotaur.
Yeah, a Minotaur.
Minotaur.
I guess John's calling it a Minotaur because it's in the mines.
No, that's just what I called it when I was a kid and I'd never heard it
technically
said.
It's in the cellar. It's a cellar tour.
Cellator. I liked this Minotaur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Big beefy boy. It was cool.
Yeah, and you like start off seeing its hooves, and Minotaur have such distinct hooves. You're like, that's a Minotaur, and then it pans up, and you're like, I know it's a Minotaur, and you start seeing a little bit more, and you're like, let me see the bullhead.
I would say,
what I like about this is that it's kind of like one of my least favorite things is these very geopolitical, boring stories. But this one's like, oh, but there's also magic, and all the characters are like, whoa, there's magic, and like everyone is kind of bewildered at like the Minotaur and the magic spells and all this shit. And I like that. Like you feel like you're party to something different, and I just think it's a cool element to add to like an otherwise, for me, boring setting.
Jim.
Yeah.
Can I propose a new segment?
Sure.
Every time that we see a Minotaur in these games, can you ask me how hot I think this Minotaur is from a scale of 1 to 5?
John, how hot is the Vagrant Story Minotaur from 1 hoof to 5 hoofs?
He gets 2 hooves. He's not super hot.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
What?
He's a little too beastie.
More monster than
yeah, he's too monstery. He's like his head is. First of all, his head is like 3/4 of his body. Like
Yeah. He has
and
a
his horns are
waspish
not like
waist
sexy
everyone
horns.
else.
Yeah.
I
Those
feel
are
like
horns that would poke
that's
you.
really it's not a minute. Like you're like from the feet up. Centaur, Minotaur from the chest up.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where the Minotaur
Centaur?
matters. You got to have the big, wide chest, muscular chest with the bullhead.
Yeah.
And big
I
horns.
disagree.
But like otherwise you're just a centaur.
Centaurs
I think this
have
is a very good Minotaur.
have a full set of horse legs,
Centaurs
though.
have horse legs. This has bull legs,
Oh,
clearly.
what am I thinking of? What's the little pan flute
thinking
playing
of a,
guy?
The satyr?
satyr.
Satyr. Yeah.
Satyr?
Yes, I'm thinking of a satyr. So you're a satyr from the ground up until you're a minotaur.
All right. I think this establishes that all these fantasy monster names I've only read and never heard them spoken.
Satyr, minotaur.
This Minotaur does have those very good Seymour Guado fingers that are just like long and tapered at the end.
But just not that. I don't want to smooch that Minotaur. Sorry, buddy. He just has a.
That's okay.
Yeah. Full on bullhead. So.
What other games have a minotaur that we might encounter?
Well, all of them, basically.
Do they?
Odyssey has one, right?
Odyssey?
Well, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, does it? I've never played that
We're
one.
not playing Assassin's Creed.
Oh, that's
Odyssey.
right. We're playing the other one. So
Playing Valhalla.
Boy.
Valhalla.
So, he does have a calming chamomile sigil. And that is useful for unlocking that grimoire locked door. Because it does say when you try to open the door, you need a chamomile sigil to open it. So you can go back there. Eventually, after opening that door, you run into Sydney. He's like, hey,
Yay.
Ashley, I like
Sydney
you.
has some weird stuff to say.
I like how calm and detached you are. It's like almost as if you have no soul.
What is Sydney talking about? Is he like trying to nag him?
I think he's like, because Ashley's not getting upset by all the crazy things he's seeing. He's like, well, it's like your body and your mind are separated and you don't have an emotional response to anything. And then he's like, show me your soul. And cut to the Punisher's Park.
Oh
Frank-
yeah, they do tell us before this that Sydney can see people's fates or something.
He can see their hearts.
Yep.
Is what they say. Yeah.
Frank Castle is having a picnic with his wife and son. It's a sunny, beautiful day in Central Park. The wife and Frank Castle smooch. Okay, I'm kidding.
This made me.
This is
made
Ashley
me gasp
Riot.
out loud. Yeah.
The wife and Ashley smooch, and then the wife, I guess, walks away, and you see her in the background getting stabbed by baddies, and his son totally shot with a crossbow bolt.
In the chest, but with he's looking at the guy. Doesn't he look at the guy that shoots his son, and he's like, "What's going on?" And the guy shoots his son. It's honestly, it's pretty. It feels tragic.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
And then he's holding his son's body and going well, it's wordless because there's no voice acting in this game. He's looking at him and going, no.
Would this game be better or worse with voice acting?
I think it'd be fine. It'd be like Final Fantasy 12.
Paul Dano as Sydney. Just gonna put that out there. Paul Dano.
Is he? I feel like Sydney would have an English accent.
So who's an English actor you would cast for that?
Oh, who is,
Ron
Benedict
Weasley.
Cumberbatch.
I was going to say David
I
Tennant.
was thinking Benedict Cumberbatch too. That's our go-to British actor on this series.
Oh, he's tall and thin and...
Well, as voice actor, not as actor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, voice actor.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking actor.
Oh.
I mean, either way.
I think
Would
David
I be
Tennant
mad
would
to
make
see him
a
dressed
good-
as Sydney? No.
I think he would make a great Sydney, actually. A great brunette Sydney. He would be great. Yeah.
Well, he could wear a wig.
Give that guy some metal arms and his penis, barely invisible, and you got yourself a Sydney.
We don't have time to get into penis talk again. So cut back to the dungeon. Sydney's all, you killed them. You failed to protect them. And Ashley's like, no, man, it was these fallen knights that had become bandits. They're the ones that killed my family. He's like,
but is that really what happened though? Or or is he seeing
Jim?
stuff? Because what?
I think we're going into Silent Hill territory here.
Oh, okay. So he thinks these are monsters, but they're innocent villagers.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
I don't know what's going on because it seems it seems like a fantasy that he's having when he sees his wife and child die.
Mm-hmm.
They're on this picturesque hill.
Are you saying that
and
James Sunderland might not have watched his wife die and then she wrote him a letter from Silent Hill?
I think they definitely did go to Silent Hill and he definitely murdered her, but the letter driving him there, which you find out was blank or didn't exist. Yeah.
Maybe
But,
this is
in
just
this one-
how they make their agents. They give him a VR family and then he has to watch them die.
Ooh, I like that too.
maybe he was just a dude with, maybe that did happen and he had amnesia or whatever. And they recruited him in his post-amnesia state.
Maybe he liked The Punisher so much and read those comics over and over that he imagined Frank Castle's origin story was his origin story.
Maybe Sydney and Ashley are the same person.
You know, you might be
That
right.
does almost fit in this chunker. I mean, they're in the same place, but it's almost a Tyler Durden situation.
Yeah, because Hardin doesn't react to Ash, does he? When he comes in with Lord Fauntleroy.
Oh man, we got a fan theory.
Ooh.
We got a fan theory of cooking.
Yeah. What do you think, Vanessa? Oh, okay. And that's just gone. So
That's just gone.
all right, let's just keep going.
I guess it's canon.
So Sydney starts flying around like a real Metal Gear boss. And, which I'm sure is explained by nanomachines or something. And Hardin shows up this time with Merlos. And she's like, Merlos is like, Ashley, just kill them. Don't worry about me. And then Sydney's like, I am the heart. You are the hunter. And, he's like, I'm going to enjoy this game later. Bye-bye. Toodle-too. And he disappears. Ashley gets lots of zaps, like purple electric lightning does zap him, and he recovers his abilities, which we need to discuss right now.
This game is crazy and doesn't explain anything to you, but I do love the fact that every time you gain a skill, it's like Ashley recovered some of his traumatized memories or some of his trauma memory or something.
He's like discovered some of his suppressed memory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is maybe more about this stuff we were talking about before with his family. Yeah. Who knows? So,
but are you, cause you get a big list of potentially repressed memories when you can pick a new ability. Was this guy like the best warrior on the planet before he got amnesia? Like he must have been like Superman.
Mm-hmm. He's already like a super warrior. Cause
wait, does he have amnesia though?
The game doesn't call him. They refer to him as a warrior with the strength of a titan later in the chunker. Like,
yeah, but that's because he's gaining like magic
he's...
abilities and stuff. I don't think he had these magic abilities before. Well,
he didn't. Like you get those in the game from the grimoires, like the magic anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Sydney refers to him as a vessel who has an aptitude for the power around him. So you're kind of led to believe that like Leomond is the thing he's absorbing some of the latent power of the setting that he's in is how I
think Sydney says the same thing, that he's getting his power from Leomond.
He does, like he's absorbing the power of the place that he's in but like he's a vessel for something.
So the chaining.
Does he have amnesia though?
Yeah,
does this game have amnesia?
It does say that he's recovering memories, and that's why, like, every time you unlock an ability,
it does, yes. But other than that,
suppressed memory.
Does the game imply that he has amnesia?
No, that is the only thing so far that is implying he has amnesia.
Yeah.
So, the chaining. So at this point, you get a few things. You get your break ability, which is a special attack linked to whatever type of weapon you have, and you
what
unlock
does
them.
That cost? I don't understand.
I don't think it costs. Oh no, it costs MP. It costs MP.
I don't think it does.
The break ability? I thought it did.
Oh, the breaks do.
Yeah.
But like the chain abilities do not.
But the chain abilities generate risk.
Yes.
And risk increases the power of some of your spells or all of your spells? I know it increases the power of your
risk increases the power of all of your spells except for healing. I think all of your offensive spells.
No, it definitely increases your healing power for sure.
Does it?
Yeah.
I thought mine
it went up. Like normally his level 1 heal spell heals like 50, but if you have high risk it heals like 75, 80.
Yeah. Oh, interesting, cuz like at one point in the game I was healing for like you said, like 85 or 90 HP, and then I got to a boss fight and I was healing for like 48.
Yeah. So the problem with your risk getting hot. So, okay, there's a few things. If you chain attacks, which is, you can set a follow-up attack to your regular attack to square, triangle, and circle. And you have a bunch of abilities to choose from, and you unlock more as you go. And these are, you can get stuff like poison, you get pretty fast. I think you get that from the lizard man fight. You get, like one that heals you if you do a combo attack, and one that gets
you start with
back.
3, and they like level up somehow.
Do they?
So, yeah, they like level up or something because you get new ones, and the new ones, you get like a list of new ones, and sometimes there's new ones on there, and sometimes it's the same ones as before. It's the same ones as before.
I wish they would level up to make them more than like half a pixel window to click on them, because like I'm having so much trouble chaining these things. Like
I can do it sometimes.
I've done 4 is the most I've gotten, but like once.
Otherwise
it's like 2, maybe 3.
I get 3 pretty regularly, but so I was talking with somebody who's like, yeah, some of the end bosses you really need to be chaining like 100 times to beat. I'm like,
what the fuck? No way.
I'm not kidding. That is, and I'm like,
no way.
I can't do. Maybe it does get easier. That would make sense, because now
that would be a great mechanic if like chaining got easier as you leveled up. But like
I think
right
you might
now
be right.
it sucks.
Yeah, now I can get 3. That's like my pretty average. Yeah, if it gets
about for me too.
But how can you get more? Don't they get used up? There's only 3 buttons.
Yeah, you can't chain like the same button.
You can alternate
sequentially.
Though. So you can do circle, then square, then circle, then square. You can definitely do that for sure.
So I don't know how you guys had this mapped, but I have Square is my regen one because you get a regen one initially.
I put that on circle because I usually
do I usually do triangle and then square and then circle.
So there's one
you can't do X. Because you can't do X.
Oh, tell us more about
I knew
these
Vanessa was going to chime in here.
I did the same thing, or I didn't do the same thing, Jim, but I overthought it too. I used circle because that's what I tap as my like one that does, because one of them does 70% of the damage that you just did. So that's like your big second hit that you can get. And then the rest of them can like silence the enemy, or they can heal you, or they can restore your MP, which is the first one I got. Because apparently, well,
there's there is weapon damage degrading, so
there's weapon degrading.
Just get out your baseball cards already.
The way it works is you do the attack and you have to time it. A little exclamation point will appear above Ashley's head.
6 of the 1998 World Series, Jason Belcher hit 3 innings.
Aiming for the sound of the hit is easier than aiming for the exclamation mark for me anyways. Like, as soon as I hear it, I hit the button. Or I try to match it.
I can do it with a couple of them. Like, you get used to them. You use like the rapier a bunch or the sword a bunch, and you get used to the animation because it's different for each weapon. And that's one thing that we haven't really mentioned, which is
anime boys.
Somebody explain what is with the affinities for different types of monsters. And you can build a weapon's affinity for a type of monster, so you want to have a fucking weapon for each monster type.
Yeah, that's a thing. Can we talk about?
Weapons level up too, so you also have to level the weapons up so that you can hit the monster type hard enough, or it's useless. It's so fucking shitty.
Can we talk about
this is the worst thing in the game.
The dummy at the beginning of the wine cellar that kind of kicks this whole thing off.
At the beginning of the catacombs, right?
No, he's right now. He's right after this cutscene is where you meet him.
So I didn't know that this was a thing, but I guess like you can continue to whack at this dummy until you have like a decent. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got 20.
The dummy will increase the weapon's affinity against. Or
humans,
whatever,
right?
Yeah,
humans.
But there's an undead dummy that you find later that will get you. So the enemy types are.
Where's the undead dummy?
We haven't met it yet. There's human, undead, beast, phantom, and dragon. There's 5, I think. And also, enemies have affinity or like weaknesses to certain types of enemies. Like slimes, you need a piercing weapon, like a spear or a crossbow, but they are considered a beast. And, like the golem is weak to, hammers and the dragon is weak to spears.
Way too much.
I used the hammer on the golem about 5,000 times.
Yeah, for both the golem
I would be
and
surprised
the dragon.
if I did more than 11 damage on a single attack of that like 300 or 400 HP monster golem.
What's the point of doing that? Because I did the same thing to the golem and the dragon. With the hammer and the spear. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Those are the kind of the end bosses. But anyway, I did the same thing. And then I switched over to just my fucking rapier that I've been using a ton to fight undead. And it did like quadruple the damage. So how does any of this make sense? Why are you not just using one weapon? I don't understand.
I don't know.
I don't know that you're telling us to do this, but it doesn't make any fucking sense.
I'm using the Dragonite I put into the spear.
I did that too.
And I was doing like 30 to 40 damage depending on if it was a critical hit or not.
I did the Dragonite in the spear as well, and it was doing 4 to 5 damage per hit.
Were you using
no idea why.
Were you using your stat boost items? Because I got like a couple of good strength boosts and stuff before that.
I did those.
Yes.
I used all the fucking king potions. Of whatever, yeah.
I used all the fucking grimoires. I did everything.
Okay, I just want to double check.
I don't understand. Listen, it's funny. If you think about it, we just did Chrono Cross, which also had a really complicated combat system, but which was amazing. And then we almost did Fallout 3 instead of this, which also had a weird shoot the body part thing.
With the VATS, yeah.
Lots of Fallout similarities here between some of these games.
So this is
terrible.
So Chrono Cross combat, complicated, kind of gratifying, definitely. This one, complicated, fuck yeah. Gratifying, no. This is not fun to play. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
It's novel, and like I think it's interesting, but I wouldn't call it fun.
I like the designs and stuff, and I'm interested enough in the plot and what's going on. Kind of. I mean, it's not super interesting, but it's fine. But the gameplay itself is such a chore, and you have to there's so much button tapping to how do you know when you can attack again? It's just you should sit there and smack the button.
That's the thing. Is there's no
timer
to this. There's no flow to this combat. Well, you don't like a good complicated RPG combat system has mechanics that will or a flow that will move you from mechanic to mechanic.
Yeah.
This one has you just kind of throwing all the mechanics at the wall at one time. And there's so many mechanics, it's hard to know what to do in any given situation. When do you attack again? When's the best time to use magic? What's the range for this weapon or that weapon? You don't know what to do. And the game doesn't tell you, and it's hard to orient yourself in this game.
You're constantly swapping back and forth between weapons too, which is crazy.
Yeah. You just don't fucking know. You just don't
Don't forget
know.
to equip your shield, because they're going to do triple damage, you know?
Yeah.
Vagrant story, you don't know.
There's tutorials in the menus that I haven't really gone through, to be honest with you.
No, that's not good game design though. Tucking everything into under the menu sheet is not a good way to do your combat system.
There's one annoying thing too. You get a crossbow, but it only has slightly bigger range than your sword, maybe 1 foot more.
Yeah, and from what I understand, and I only know this because I was looking on YouTube for videos that would explain the combat system.
Yeah.
Is the crossbow is kind of a catch-all.
Mm-hmm.
So if you fuck up leveling one weapon type or another, you can always fall back on the crossbow, which does kind of decent damage across the board.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
But the game doesn't tell you any of this.
And also you can't hold shield.
Nothing.
So you're going to suffer a huge damage penalty.
So
yeah.
Holding that crossbow.
Yeah, the increase in range is not worth the defense penalty.
All right, well we got
So basically the gameplay of this game sucks.
I'm enjoying the combat. I do hope that if the combo timing gets easier, I think I'd like it. And hopefully it does.
I just wish it was a little bit more favorable to the player.
Yeah. So let's keep going. So you go through a locked door, you fight a suit of armor with a ghost inside and fight that. That's a pretty fun fight.
That was
Dehulahan or whatever. It's
Dehulahan.
What is it?
No, I don't know.
It's fucking Dundaloo because it's Irish. That's a fun fight.
You enter into the catacombs. There's more dungeon crawling. You fight some lizard men.
Oh, you find this is in the catacombs is where you encounter your first zombie, so your first undead enemy type.
Yeah.
We mentioned that you get magic, but we didn't mention that the way you get magic is you will find grimoires, and you have to, grimoires, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. And, you have to go into your items and use it once, and then you'll master the spell.
You know what? I like that, actually. I
would have liked it if it would have fucking told me that. If the game had said, you got a grimoire and you should go into your items and use it, motherfucker, because then you'll be able to use it whenever you want, then I would have been cool. But it didn't tell me that at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the undead scene's pretty cool because you find a wounded blade soldier and he's like, kill me, end the pain.
Yes, yeah. It's a cool scene.
And then he turns into a zombie and you have to fight him, and then there's just
well, it's like a little horror movie scene because you kind of watch this guy die warrior to warrior, and then you go to leave the room and you hear him shuffling around behind you and you turn around and he's like a zombie. It's like a little horror movie thing.
Yeah, I like the kind of horror elements you get to this game.
Yeah, and on this guy's, dying and dead body, he had blood on him, and putting the blood in, just another thing animators have to do. It's a cool touch that they added to it.
So then you get to another door. As you walk through the door, you see a ghost Harden, and I think it is Harden that is watching him. Because then you cut to Sydney and he's drawing something on the floor and he's like saying to Merlot's, "Do you like my art?"
Yeah, this like took me a YouTube video that I watched today to understand.
So
Was it a ghost? I thought it was just like the moonlight on his face.
No.
So like Hardin, who is Sydney's like kind of
right-hand
general.
man.
Yeah. He also is a magic guy and kind of like he was kind of astrally projecting himself.
Yeah.
So like he can, yeah, I guess that's what it is. Like astrally project
that's why
himself
he
to
like
watch
turns
other
around and
things.
starts talking about what Ashley's doing. Like he
Yes.
just got
Yes,
intel.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like that's why he's like, how is he so strong? Like, because when I first watched the cutscene, it doesn't explain any of that. So like, how does he know that? And then somebody explained it in a YouTube video, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's using his like magic sight to see what Ashley's
And that's super
doing.
cool.
And they realize they've been betrayed by the Duke. Hardin's like, you can't keep playing these games. You have to, come on, we gotta go. We can't just keep doing these stupid plans. And he like snaps at Sydney and even, Merlot's turns, everyone like looks at him. He's like, "Oh God, I'm sorry. And Ashley's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." No, Sydney, don't worry about it. It's fine. And he's like, "Hey, Merlot's, I notice you're more interested in our plans than what we're going to do to you." And she doesn't say anything, but then Ghost Boy shows up and turns to Merlot's and says, "I must help father."
I thought this was cool, because like, Sydney, like, he like full on is about to summon like a demon.
I think that's the I think that's the room you fight the dragon in.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, this is where he summons the like dragon in. But the way, so like when he opens up his like summoning portal, the hair on all the character models moves, and it moves in a way that you would think their hair is all being blown by the same thing. For like a PS1 game.
Yeah, that was really impressive.
That's pretty incredible. Like, Merlot's hair, the way that it moves, like it looks great. Like, in a way that like because hair is a hard thing to do. And like, it just looked great.
The next game I think of that has like that cool hair movement is, Final Fantasy 12, which is also, Matsude.
Yeah, but that's a whole like console generation.
Is
forward.
Vanessa okay? Are we listening to her go to the bathroom?
Are we talking about hair now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, my long nightmare is over. I just started hearing circle, triangle, square, and like I went into a trance or something. But finally, a topic I can relate to. Flowing hair. Yes.
Vanessa,
we are back on track.
Best video game hair.
Animation.
Yeah.
I've never, to this day, been really like a stunned with video game hair animation. Like,
Really?
they just haven't mastered it, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm
Agree.
waiting for the day when a character can have long hair and it is, like, animated and functional and isn't just like a brick down their back or something.
My favorite video game hair is Vagrant Story for PS1, Final Fantasy 12 for PS2, and I would say, what's another good? Oh, The Witcher has great Geralt's flowing mane, and then Final Fantasy 15 on those pretty boys, all their hair just sways nicely in the wind.
Yeah,
You know what, John? I'm gonna say, like, I think, I think the first time playing a video game where I noticed, like, oh, this hair looks really great, was pretty recently with Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, her hair looks great.
It's kind
And,
of
like,
like
it's
tied
always-
back, though, isn't it?
It's dreadlocks
Yeah,
too.
it doesn't have to be flowing to be believable, though. Like, it just looked very well done.
But I
This
want
game-
beautiful flowing hair. Gosh darn it.
This game definitely won. So Vagrant Story, also the new Tomb Raider games.
Oh yeah,
do it really
those
well.
have good hair. Those definitely have good hair.
Those ones do it really well.
Lara with the good hair.
Yes, Lara with the good hair. I think the Tomb Raider games are some of the best ones. Like just the way that it's really well done.
There is something, I'm just going to breeze through the dungeons here. There is one point where you get to a door and it's like, it's locked. Only an earthquake would remove the rust on this door.
Yeah, there's an earthquake.
You go to the next, you fight a ghost that you do know is a ghost. And those things,
dude, these ghosts,
They're
the
terrible.
worst fucking enemy. I can't think of a worse enemy in the last 10 games we've played, honestly.
If you build up a high risk and then use that spirit attack on them, they die in one hit.
How the fuck would you know to do that?
I did that by accident.
You can only build up risk though by like chaining attacks.
Yes.
And boy, am I fucking terrible at that. So like,
have you
these ghosts?
Have you had to use the Vera bulbs? I have, because I chain too many attacks and then your risk gets too high and you take more damage. Sorry, Vanessa.
I only did that in the golem fight. But like with these ghosts though, like they can move like vertically in ways that like your character in battle mode cannot.
Yeah, they teleport.
They teleport around.
They teleport around. So like when it's so frustrating because when you go to attack them, it's rare that they're in range. Mm-hmm. And when you go to use magic on them and they're actually in range for the magic, it's rare that you can reach for that button before they cast a fucking magic spell on you.
Yeah.
And it takes so long.
So, there's a couple of boss fights in a row.
You do start to get defense buffs in that, I can't remember what they're called, the battle skills or whatever. You do start to get defense buffs where it's like fire damage is only half.
You can do defense chains as well, like chains in that they're like a time button press.
Those are more like blocks, but I think you can also get just like,
I thought those were part of your defense chain, the wind damage or is that?
Are they really?
I don't know. I thought so.
They are.
You're fucking kidding me.
No, they are. Yeah.
Anyway,
right?
Vanessa,
better have it equipped on one of the 3 buttons that you can use.
But no, like the ghosts are what like those ghost enemies are what made me like have to learn the defense time, the like defense button timing, because like I was getting wrecked by those things.
There's one that does like restores half your health from the attack. But Vanessa,
that's the reflect one.
Let's move
Uh-oh.
on.
We fight a golem.
You do fight a golem. Watching it assemble together was pretty fun. It did say like Exim or something on its arm. I thought that was cool. Then there's some more dungeoning. You have to like go on a floaty rock and kill some lizard men, and then you get to the room where Sydney has set that trap, and it's dragon time.
This is a good-looking dragon.
Oh, there's also workshops, but we'll talk about workshops next time because I think that's too much talk, and we'll make Vanessa run out of the room.
Yeah.
Again. So there, I put in a gem that makes my spear real good against dragons, stood under the dragon's head, and just stabbed up. It can't hit you with its fireballs. It can only hit you with its tail. And I could heal myself pretty easily. I still went through, you get tons of healing items, which is nice because I go through them.
Yeah, you do.
Its
tail did do 100 damage and you've got 250 hit points. So I was doing a lot of healing here.
So like if you use those elixirs, just like queen elixirs, they'll raise your MP up enough and then
Matt, were you checking your risk level? Because I think that might be why you're doing so little damage and taking so much damage.
That does make sense, actually.
Yeah.
John.
You want it to be zero.
Are you better at chaining than we are?
I am pretty good at chaining.
Yeah.
Okay, because John and I are terrible at it. That's why our risk never gets up above like 30.
Yeah.
But if you're chaining a lot, like that'll put your risk up. Like if you're fighting a boss into the 40s quick. So like, yeah, I bet that's why you're missing and doing so little damage is because your risk is super high.
But how would switching to another weapon change that?
It wouldn't. There's items you can use to drop it down.
Yeah, but I switched to the rapier and was doing like 30 damage.
I don't know. Anyway, so you kill the dragon, you step out into the sunlight, it's Leomond, you're finally in the city. Cut to the Blades. One of the like low level blades is like, we have no word from Squad 3. And then the leader guy slaps him. He's got a real bad haircut. He's got like a bowl haircut. He's a blonde guy. He's named Dwayne. He backhands his troop and is like, you cowards, you didn't check for them.
He looks like a Dwayne.
Mm-hmm. Dwayne's like, I want to leave, but we gotta stick around here. One of the Blades finds a survivor, who does spit on the blade. He's one of the cult members, and he's like, we're not going to betray Sydney. And then he does die, but then like dissipates into the ether, and this woman who looks just like a Luc Besson character with her like real severe blonde Deborah Harry from Blondie haircut. She comes in. She's rad. She doesn't get a name yet, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
And she's like, the dark of Leomond is corrupting the body. And the guy she's with, I think that's the cardinal. He's like, they're dying, but it's an incomplete death. True death is the death of the soul. These guys are like walking dead with the soul imprisoned in them. And Luc Besson girl's like, will that happen to me? He's like, and he's like, don't worry, baby. We're going to get this power, this power, and we're going to live forever, because that's the power of Leomond. And Grissom, okay, these are names we've never heard before, but Grissom heads out to go join with Tiger's Knights. Okay. And I think that's the cardinal. This is when you as Ashley are walking around the city and you're trying to avoid guards and stuff. But then you do walk right into blonde bad haircut guy, Dwayne, who comes in with his troops, and you gotta kill those troops and Dwayne to get the Crimson Key. And Dwayne's like, you're never gonna leave here. Then he dies. Or does he run away, or does he die? I think he dies, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And that's how you get the Crimson Key to the Undercity, which we will talk about next time on Square Roots.
Thank the Lord it's over.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have such a negative attitude towards my own podcast.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Cut that.
Yeah, cut out the point where I apologize.
Where are we playing to next time? And let's just keep in mind that the word playing is being used very loosely.
Marks. How about we defeat the Nightstalker, which is an evil armor in the black market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating.
What's
next, Jim?
Squarely against. Ooh. Vanessa, I want to know what you're squarely against.
I am roundly for penis windows and exposed boy butt cheeks. Why not? Do it. Actually, don't, because it would probably be some sort of harassment. Do it in situationally appropriate context. Although I think we've had this debate on the show before, and I don't want to get back into that. And I'm squarely against talking about what buttons you mapped to whatever.
Only because you haven't done it yourself.
Yeah, I'm just jealous. Who else is here and hasn't walked away? John? Matt?
I'm here.
Okay, John, what are you squarely against?
I am roundly for the cutscenes. They're super impressive. I love the look of this like late PS1 where they really can make the hardware do the maximum. And I don't know, this game just looks well directed and incredible.
It looks like the cutscenes look like they're from an early to mid PS2, not like an end of gen PS1.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Matt, what about you?
Squarely against the combat and the terrible weapon affinity bullshit. Hate it. Can't do it. Jim.
This game's complicated for me. I feel like I could really be into this game if I wasn't playing it on the Vita. So I guess I'm squarely against the Vita port of this game. I'm constantly hitting buttons I don't mean to. The back pads on the Vita, which are supposed to correspond to the L2 and R2 buttons on the controller, there's a 0% chance they're going to work when you want them to, and a 100% chance they're going to work at the most inopportune moment that you can think of. Like, it's just a bummer playing a game like this on the Vita, because the Vita does not do it justice, I don't think. I feel like I would be having a much better time with it, and it would feel way more intuitive if I was playing with a controller.
I'm going to try moving over to PSTV and play with a PS4 controller for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be better, honestly.
All right. No emails today. We did just have a big email bonus episode. Speaking of bonus episodes.
Yes.
We have a Patreon full of bonus episodes. For $3 a month, you can hear every single bonus episode we've ever made. And for $5, you can help us choose our next game with our votes. And we did just do a vote, and that chose this game, which we all love. And thank you so much for choosing.
Let's talk about making bad decisions, Jim.
And I'm enjoying it, at least. So you made me happy, voters. So thank you.
What a surprise.
It was Jim's choice. I wanted to play what I want to play. Oh yeah, Parasite Eve 2, which I hear is terrible too. So
it feels like kind of the same game almost, just different settings.
Right.
Another bonus of the Patreon is that we read your names. Oh, we should also, Matt says to plug our YouTube streams, which is on the wrong. If you look up Square Roots Darkseed, you'll get to the right place.
We did say we would fix that before we recorded again, but we did record again pretty quickly.
Yeah, we haven't had time.
Did we?
Sorry, listeners. Google on YouTube, look up Square Roots Darkseed, and you will find it. That it's on that channel.
If you really want to watch it, you'll find it.
We do stream every so often, like every couple of weeks. We'll stream something. So
we should record this weekend.
No, dude, we just did last weekend. I can't do it every weekend. You can do it. You can stream. I just can't stream every weekend. Sorry.
Straight.
Sure.
All right.
What's next, John?
Next, we read a list of every single patron we have, starting with Jim, who's not a patron, but he's going to read the list.
Let's see. I have Aiden Marriott, Fresh Eyes, WWE, Mike G, Dylan Rowe, EP, Vote for Cuslin, that Maniseed in 2021, Glug, 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 Aaron J. L. O'Toole, Eyes of the Shifter, Cassandra, Journey to the Center of the Girth, Joshua W. Broxton, T.J. Miller's Horny Grandma impersonation, Jason Timms, It's Peanut Butter Jelly Time, Peanut Butter Jelly Time, Dan, Fable is great, but so is Threads of Fate, play it in 2021, or the Cuzzle will still drizzle gallons and gallons all over the squoots.
He was cut off before we find out what he was going to say, I guess.
Soy Soda Pop, Yuck Me Harder Donald, Hales, Tracy, William Westgard, insert clever name here, Wedge Coon, Ethan J. Pearson, Mostly Rational Person, Chief Hazard Bill, Garbage Orphan Worlds, Garbage Orphan World Savers LLC, Christopher Highness, Saving Sid, Jordan McNeil, Sean, still not sure what the Frozen Flame was, and Vanessa's Golden Taco Bell PS5.
Grayson, Laryl of the Claryl, Ari Kopavara, Andrew Leinhart, Robert J. Defendi, You Make Sulk Sad. Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is Grey Code. Isaac Wright, Justin Rash, Matthew Newlin, Alexander Jokic, Listen Up Squoot Stains, Chris Wilder, Joshua Bennett, Hexagon, Armin Hammer, Hudson Roth, Andy Smith, Vanessa's mother's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate, Amanda Douglas, Christian Go, Sergeant Spaghetti, Chris Ryan, Kevin Walter, Matthew Casterline, Adam Zimmerman, That One Guy, Stephen Paget, Paul Birsch, Alex Doulard, Cake Ninja, and Joseph.
I'd like to thank Wash in the Wind, Andy Knopford, George Brady, Michael Crawford, Vanessa's fourth mom, Jameson, OMG, what is this game? Mary, Queen of Scoffs, DJ Ethro, Ron, Sean Gonzalez, Jared Collins, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name. Molyneux later apologized for promising if an acorn falls from a tree, it will grow into a T-Bombkins later in the game. This is the best Vagrant story. Oh, sorry. This is the vagrant story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole
This is the
world.
vagrant story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world.
Andy Best, Citrus C, Gage La Charité, Chris Penyak, PJ Enns, Huxley Iguana, Benjamin Abner, Sean Walsh, Vanessa's Holiday Cheese Plate Fund is back, Florian Jonas Kramer, the RPG Luminary, Ryan Miller, Eric Garby, Vanessa's Bathroom Cactuar, Vanessa's mom, Jake Dickerson.
We'd also like to thank David Green, Ashley T, Chili's Baby Back Luigi, Nathan Poirot, Chicken Chaser, Megan Sullivan, Jonathan Ellsworth, Sammy Mitchell, Sam Harrison, Aaron Bachman, Wonder Swan, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, Robert Impalum, Miguel Torres, I Challenge the Other Tracy to a Duel to the Pain, Race Jenkins, Cameron Shoei, Cyril the Wolf, Thou Hast Obtained a Patron Name, Robert T, Tom, Ross Hartley, Tyler Petty, Justin Ham, Bree Girth, Devin Sloan, I Am Homer, son of Fergus, third of my line, conqueror of Nashville and Franklin, born in the Columbian District, Brian Pitt, Ward Childress, the ghosts of Johnny's murdered fable husbands.
Oopsies.
What about the ghosts of Johnny's murdered dogs? A sad sack of broken Molyneux promises. Matt Jorgensen, Vanessa's mom is back, and Stu Skeel.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email, we are at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group, for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our theme for this season is the chiptune version of Cisco's Thong Song.
Nope. No, that can't be the case.
No.
Did you hear it? I posted it to the group.
You know what? Hard pass.
We'll figure out something. Yeah, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon, and I'm editing this episode. So,
And I'm Vanessa.
bye, Vanessa. So, for defense chains, we didn't even get into that. You can assign different defense boosts to each, to square, triangle, and circle. And when the exclamation mark appears over Ashley's head, you have to hit the proper button to get the desired
Hey, I
effect.
can just go into my happy place.
Sorry, Vanessa. I am
recording.
I don't like seeing my
All right.
face though, so I'm going to turn off this gallery view.
I've got
to turn my overhead light
I don't like seeing my face either. I would like to see the three of you and not me.
You cannot see me because I have turned off my camera.
I know, you always do.
You turned off your camera?
I turned off my camera.
Are we ready?
A friend to
Yeah,
all the
let's
children.
clap.
All right. 1, 2, clap.
Did you burp instead of clap that?
I clapped 2.
Okay.
It's a burlap. Burlap.
The
Vanessa
body is but a vessel for the soul.